Hello, everybody. Hi, everybody. What's up, everybody? Welcome to my channel. Um, my name is Nomadic Kitty, and this is my channel. This is a channel where I talk about BTS things. I'm very BTS centric. Y'all have to excuse me. I, me have just gotten home from vacation. Y'all see I have this big lump on my chin, y'all. I broke out when I was on vacation. I broke out. I like just broke out. Like it's just terrible. But anyway, so ignoring the lump on my chin, we're going to discuss BTS today. J Hope's new song is about to drop in a couple of hours. If y'all didn't know. Oh my goodness, y'all give me a moment. Hold on. I apologize, y'all. Sorry, it's my daughter calling me and she knows I'm live. Anyway, I apologize, y'all. I'm deeply sorry. Oh my goodness. Like, I apologize. I'm here. I apologize. We're going to talk about BTS on my live stream. And we are going to talk about everything that's going on. Sorry, I'm having problems with my live stream. Anyway, we're going to talk about BTS. We're going to talk about I have been on vacation, y'all. I have been on vacation. I've been on vacation a whole week. A whole week. Okay. So I've been dying to talk to everybody about what's going on, about the boys' discharge. So this stream is just going to be nothing but BTS, nothing but Hive. There's things going on with Minhee Jin and Adore and New Jeans, like court cases and findings. I will save that for another live stream at another time because I don't want to ruin the atmosphere of FESTA because BTS FESTA is almost here. If you don't know what FESTA is, I did a whole video. FESTA is the annual celebration. BTS has been around for 12 years now. And so there's FESTA going on tomorrow officially. So I don't want to ruin anything about FESTA. So I'm not going to talk about Minhee Jin and New Jeans and all that. I'll talk about that another time. This is just strictly BTS and HYBE and the members' discharge and what has happened. So let me begin. I'm sorry, y'all. I apologize. I got all kinds of things going on. My kid calling me. I'm like, girl, if you don't. But I got all kinds of things going on. But we're better now. We're good. So first of all, I'd like to talk about just briefly before I get into the members being released and my thoughts. We would like to talk about Hive and China. Okay. So Hive has made inroads into China. If those of you who didn't know, in 2017, the Chinese government stopped Korean artists from performing in China. They have to have like some kind of special dispensation, or one of the members, like if one of the members are Chinese, they can do it. But yeah, they stopped members from performing in China and interacting with K-pop. They kind of like, I guess they would say, was a K-pop band. It wasn't necessarily per se a K-pop band, but it kind of was. But it had political implications. Like there's reasons. It's not just because China hated BTS or China hated K-pop. There's political reasons behind that. It has to do with the United States and communism and the Cold War and all that. So I won't get into the history of Japan, China, and South Korea, but it's very interesting to know the backgrounds of these countries. They are neighbors, but they've been like throughout the centuries, China, Japan, and South Korea have been in a series of wars, occupations throughout the years. Like I said, I won't get into a history lesson, but it's very interesting. So China in 2017, they saw the what do they call it, Hallyu wave, the wave of Korean entertainment and Korean companies coming through. And China politically decided, because South Korea and the United States are very close, China and the United States are not, especially now. So they ended up banning South Korean like performers and artists and stuff like that since 2017. So now China has come back and said that they're easing these restrictions, right? They're easing these restrictions. Hi, Maria or Mariah. Maria, hello. So China has decided to start easing these restrictions. And so more companies, including HYBE and YG, are talking about making inroads to China and letting their artists perform in China. doing tours and fan meets in China. So that's what's coming up next. And the Hive is talked about, the rumors talking about having a division in China. They do have, Hive does have a division in Japan. South Korea and Japan, their entertainment has always had a good relationship. Besides the West, Japan is one of the biggest markets for K-pop. Besides South Korea, they go to Japan. A lot of the albums, if you're a K-pop fan, you know a lot of the albums have Japanese versions and Japanese versions of the videos and stuff like that. So y'all know that Japan and South Korea, when it comes to K-pop, they're very tight. And Chinese army is rich AF. Paula Flores, you are not lying. I was about to get to that. There is a lot of money in China. There are lots of Chinese K-pop fans. Lots. They buy a lot of merchandise just because they can't, a lot of groups can't perform. Some of these Chinese, I wouldn't say K netizen, I guess C netizens, go over to Thailand, Singapore, they fly to South Korea, and they do attend the concerts. And yes, the Chinese, because there's like a billion Chinese, of course, these K-pop companies want to make inroads over to China. So, from what I've heard, the Chinese K-pop fans are kind of delulu. They're extra delulu. So just beware of that, y'all, because they said the Chinese fans are something else. And I've kind of seen that, if you know the boys next door thing that happened with them performing, and then there was a storm that was coming, and then there was some rumors going. It's a whole thing. Look it up. I won't get into it. But there's a whole boys next door. They had a backlash from Chinese fans. And it was just lies. It was just, but I heard yes. Yes. Oh, yes. I heard that Chinese netizens and Chinese fans are nothing to play with. Like, you think the Korean fans are delulu. I heard the Chinese ones are worse. So some people have been very apprehensive about that. In South Korea, they just elected a new president. So I think that because things, not to get political, but it has to go with the fact that South Korea is realizing that it needs to normalize relations with China and Japan in order to protect its own interests. That the United States is not really a reliable, viable partner, and South Korea doesn't want to turn into another Ukraine, because the Ukraine, if you don't, the Ukraine and the Russian war has been going on for quite a long time, and the Ukraine is kind of a big partner with the United States, or so they thought. And so the sentiment I hear from South Koreans is that the new president is a bit friendlier to China, because they realize that they need to normalize relations with China, with China being a buffer to North Korea as well. So South Korea, if you don't know, they're always on the lookout and the alert for North Korea, because they're at the border with North Korea. They're in some like truce armistice with North Korea. But at any time, North Korea could pop off and come over the border and be like, we finna start a war. And I think the sentiment for a lot of South Koreans is that America has always had their back. But for some South Koreans that I talk to, it is a fear that they feel like, would the United States really have their back? If a situation came where North Korea would come over and mess with them, they are kind of apprehensive. So they feel like, so China's come to them and been like, okay, like, we're cool with North Korea. You could be cool with us. The United States not really going to help you if it pop off like that. So, hey, we need to normalize relations. So that's where so K-pop, believe it or not, K-pop and commerce, because they're setting up trade agreements too with South Korea. So K-pop and trade. Israel and Iran are at war, like, officially. ATs and BTS fan, Puerto Rico, hello. America, not with 100% help. No. South Koreans are afraid of that. Like, I've talked to people in South Korea. They just bombed. Oh my God. I was just watching a show right now. They were talking about, oh my God. Okay, y'all, let me get my life for a second. Hold on, y'all. Oh my God. Are you serious? Oh my God. Okay, y'all. Okay, y'all. I know, I have friends, I have people that I know that live in Iran. So that's in Tehran. That's why I'm like, what? And I was just watching the show, them talking about the military documents that were leaked in Iran, leaked about Israel wanting to bomb Iran. Okay. All right, y'all. Whew. Okay, thanks for telling me. Oh my God. Like this is shocking. This is very shocking. I'm gonna try to focus and get through this live stream. But yes, I do know armies that are in Tehran. So um oh wow. Okay. So I hope everybody's safe. Because I have people who come to my channel that are from Iran that come to my channel. And then I know I've talked to armies who are in Tehran. And they have not officially announced that Israel just okay. All right. Well, thank you for telling me to Bosha Coliandre. Okay, thank you. I appreciate it. But like I said, I've been watching this all day when they were talking about government documents been leaked. So I hope everybody's safe, especially all the people, non-armies and armies alike that are in Iran. That especially like I said, I have a few that come to my channel. Um, I just they have not officially announced it. Okay. This is crazy times we live in. But anyway, like I was saying about Korea and China, it's best for them to normalize relations because they share a border, they share a cultural history, whether that be good and bad. And so, even though South Korea is vehemently, for the most of them, are anti-communist. A lot of people, not a lot, but I said people, like I've asked people in South Korea, like, what do they think about all of this? And it's good for business, to have normalized relations with China, and it's good for HYBE because that means BTS and other groups can perform there and stuff like that. But a lot of people are really they still have a fear of China and communism and what that means towards North Korea. But again, it's South Korea is starting to understand that they're going to have to cooperate and trade with their neighbors because there's not a guarantee that the international community would run to their aid if North Korea just decides to pop off. And the things that happened last year with North Korea sending trash across the border, they blew up a bridge, they was popping off last year. So South Korea is like, we have to really protect ourselves and protect our interests, which they should, because South Korea is not a large country. Like y'all, South Korea is not that big in population in an area, not a big country. And so they understand that they're in a very vicarious situation with North Korea to the north and China and Japan. And Japan is like they don't have like Japan, Japanese don't have like a real military, a real army. That was part of the whole thing. Like it's a whole I could do history all day, but it's a whole thing that Japanese don't have a real army. Okay, because of the whole World War II thing and them being on the wrong side of thing. They stripped their army, and so Japan doesn't have a real like an army. Um, but that's just part of the agreement after World War II. You know, so that's part of it. So he said, so that's just how it goes. Um, so that's Hive in China. That's the news there. So we'll see more about like what groups are going to perform there. Maybe BTS will perform in China one day. I feel neutral. I'm not Korean. I'm not in Korea. I'm not Chinese. But just historically speaking and money speaking, those you're right. Them Chinese, them sea netizens, they have a lot of money to spend. They have a lot of money to spend. And South Korea is ready to reap the rewards of those K-pop fans. So there you go. So that's that. On to the next part, which is about the release of, I should say release like they just got out of jail. But the military discharge of Jimin, Jungkook, V, and RM. So, hello. Anyo, Anaseo, hello. Hello, Jessica. So they just got released from military service, mandatory military service. They are 4 members of BTS. 2 are already out. Jin and J-Hope are already been released last year. 1 more to go, and that's Sugar. That's my bias, Sugar. Now, Sugar's in civil service, and when you're in civil service, you have to serve a little bit longer than the mandatory, like 18, 19 months. So they were released. So who was released first? We're going to talk about RM and V. When RM and V were released, and they do show videos of them being released, and then they come out there and they speak to the media and they hold free BTS. Honey Buddy said free BTS. So whenever the people are released from the military, the press is there. Well, I don't know about other groups. I haven't watched other groups being released from the military. I don't know what other groups do. All I know is when BTS get released is a really big deal. So RM and V got released first because they went in at the same time. When RM and V got released, the look on RM's face was very. I commented on other people's videos and other people's pages that RM didn't really look. He really had a look in his face that was kind of sad. You know, it just like he didn't look right. Like and then it finds out that he been crying. Jessica, hey Jessica girl, but it looked like he been crying. Jessica, my Korean, I would take time to read that, baby. My Korean is not that good. Yeah, it is a big deal them being released because BTS is the largest thing in Korea ever. So it is, yeah, it should be a big deal. I noticed a look on Arm's face that his face looked puffy. He looked kind of upset. And I said he looked like V looked like he was trying to hold RM up. You know, he was like, slapping him on the shoulder. And the look on RM's face was just a look of like relief, exhaustion. And I even told my sister-in-law, I said, he looks really exhausted. RM just didn't look right to me. And then, so they got released, and then after they released, they go to the HYBE building, and then they have like, everything decorated with balloons and cakes and everything. And they were on the live stream, and V was eating, and V was just, they get on Weverse Live and they talk they tell that, they're happy to be home, or they just get on there and talk. And like I said, when RM was standing up there, you could tell that he was nervous, like he was a little bit, and they haven't been on camera in like 18 months, so it's going to take time for them to get together. But I knew that something was not right with RM, like the way he was looking and his demeanor, and he just looked like he'd been crying, and then it turns out that like we were right, that he came, so they did their little Weverse thing where they talk with the viewers, they read the comments, they laugh, they talk to each other, they read cards and statements from TXT, and that was hilarious. Jin showed up and they were like, where's the gift? And Jin's like, I am the gift, like I am here. And Jin showed up and he laughed with them a little bit, and everything was all good. And then later on that night, RM does his live, he does his live from home. And I'm thinking this is going to be him catching up. I didn't think it was going to be so heavy. His live stream was not, Namjoon was not made for the military at all. Kamiya, yes, very hard for his type of personality. Hello, Korean Kim Boy. Hello. Are you laughing? You kikiing over there? My name is Kiki, or Kiki. But you could tell that something was not right. So hello, Mohana. So when he was talking on his live stream, I'm thinking he's going to tell about, his experiences and things that he's wrote, and just I didn't think it was going to be that heavy. But RM started talking, and and you could tell that he had something on his mind that he wanted to say. You could kind of see the hesitation, but I was like, oh, he got something on his mind that he wants to say. So he first off started speaking in English. Then he was like, I need to switch to Korean. And I was like, oh, it's fixing to get heavy. And RM did something that I didn't expect him to do. RM real talk. He talked about that he did not have a good time in the military. It was very tough for him. I was kind of shocked because I thought RM would be, would take an adjustment, but I thought RM would adjust. And then he just took it from the top. He said in the beginning that when they went in, they do 5 weeks of basic training. That when him and Kim Taehyung went up, people were telling them, well, look after Kim Taehyung, look after Taehyung, because Taehyung is more sensitive. Taehyung is a little bit more delicate, a little bit more fussy. Look after Taehyung. After 5 weeks of basic, which was difficult and hard and grueling, and from what I hear from people, is very difficult and hard and grueling. And I'm going to tell you guys like what I hear from men who served in Korea. And I went and asked them. I've been asking guys in Korea, like, what is your experience? And it's different generations. It's different. It was harder back a long time ago than it is now. But I asked them, and then RM, they thought Kim Taehyung was going to be the one that was going to be weak. Where am I from? I'm from America. You're loving my recap. Thank you, Art by Julia Sanchez. I appreciate it. And so I really thought that it was going to be all like him saying, "Oh, I had a hard time with the physical and the being away." But RM said something that truly shook me. Like he talked about, Kim Tae Young flourished apparently in the military. And I kind of figured that, with his pictures and stuff, Kim Tae-young looked like he made friends. Kim Tae-young seemed like he hasn't said anything, but he seemed like he really found himself in the military. And that happens to some people. But RM said after 5 weeks of basic training and when he had to go to the barracks and he got sent to his unit, that's when he really started to have problems. Like he couldn't sleep. He had problems sleeping. And so if you really listen to what he's saying, you can kind of read between the lines as a grown person. Now, as a grown person that's been through some things, I've been through some things. Not in the military. I've never been in the military. I come from a military family. I come from a family that's in the entertainment industry, not in Korea, but in America, and a family that's just been through a lot. And 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 so it's hard to go through many different things and then experience that surrounded by other people. So in the Korean military, BTS, when they entered it, they were older. They were older. So they weren't like most people enter the military service, they're like 19, 20, 21 years old. And so, they're at a different age range than little kids. When you go in and you're surrounded by 18, 19-year-olds, then it's just a little bit different. Then you're surrounded by grown people. So BTS have been in the spotlight and been in the industry all like most of their adult lives. So when you go in with, you're going in there with 18, 19, 20-year olds. That's a different experience. I can imagine being a grown man surrounded by these younger people. Number one. And number two, he wasn't really prepared for the conditions in the barracks. I think he was trying to say that it was kind of like a storage, like a converted storage unit. And, they have bunk beds and there's like 6 or 8 to a unit. So that was uncomfortable. And he was saying that he had a hard time sleeping. He had a real hard time sleeping. And so he talked about like, being, drinking to the point that he would fall asleep because he couldn't sleep. And then he talked about being on a CPAP machine because he had a hard time breathing. And then him couldn't sleep. He said he would go 3 days and not sleep. And that's crazy. And then he just really like talked about being yelled at. You will get yelled at. They have to have tests and it's not just the physical, but to me, RM was talking about the mental, of what he went through. And that was profound. Like I said, a lot of people, it went over their head. But as somebody who's older, who's been through some shit, I can tell you that you will experience things in your life that will strip you down, your ego. And when I say ego, I don't mean like RM thought he was the bomb and he was like Mr. BTS. And he may have thought that way. I don't know, but I don't get that sense from him. I think RM is very introspective and I think RM is very creative. For somebody who is creative and used to doing their own thing for so long and being a leader in his profession and then going to the military where you're just another person. You're not RM, you're not Namjoon, you're just another soldier. And you need to act accordingly and behave accordingly and perform and do these tests. And they have to go out and shoot on the range. And, the physicality of it all. You can see that for some people are just not made for the military. So all of the BTS members have all had different experiences. And I find that interesting. She said, I figured the military would be so hard, but since they went through so much training and discipline with BTS that they would have been okay. It broke my heart that it was so hard for RM. Yeah, you would think that it was I thought RM would do well because he was a leader. He's a leader, but and then the fact that he was honest about him not doing well, that hit me hard. I'm like, what K-pop group and singers? Think of all the K-pop singers and groups that have been through the military throughout the years. Some of them have barely talked about their experiences. Some of them have not talked about their experiences at all. And I did a whole video about the Korean military and how it's structured and what it goes and everything like that. Just the basics. K-pop singers, they not only do they not do well, but there's a lot of people that don't do well. Just regular people who don't do well. But again, when you're young, when you're 18, 19 years old, and you're 20, 21 years old, and most of them go around in that time, you don't have the level of life experiences and maturity and things to back it up. Because the more I've understood that the older I get, the more inflexible I am. And that's just because you get used to having your own routine and having your own life. And then especially being BTS, where you call your own shots and you've worked hard and you've done things and you get older and you're like, okay, wait a minute. Now these people want to come and yell at you and cuss at you and then RM, he's a perfectionist like me. I'm an artist and I'm a perfectionist. I write, I draw. I'm an artist. R types, I don't do well with authority. People talking to me crazy. I don't do well with that. So the idea of you being such a self-made person and then going to the military and having them strip all of that down. Hello, blessings. Hello, John 1997, Jungkook. And seeing all that love from Brazil, hola, from Brazil. BTS has always touched on taboo topics. Yes, from the beginning, that's one reason what drew me to BTS, because they talk about stuff the other K-pop singers don't talk about. And RM talking about him taking the sleeping pills and drinking, I can read between the lines of what he was talking about. I lost my mother. My mom died, like just suddenly. She just went to sleep and woke up, she was dead. And so I had to go through that and the grief of that. And the grief of that is like me not sleeping. So when he said he couldn't sleep, I understand that that's a mental thing. When you're under a lot of mental distress, you can't sleep. Oh, thank you, Rostam Ali. You can't sleep. And so I know when my mom died, I had a hard time sleeping for 6 months. I could not sleep. I didn't want to stay in this house. My mom died in my old house. I didn't want to sleep in the house. I would just stay up all night and just stare. And then RM talks about him not sleeping, just staying and staring at the ceiling. And then 3 days would go by and he's like, I have to sleep. And so he went to the doctor and got sleeping pills prescribed to him. And he talked, like I said, he talked about drinking. And I'm just like, okay, like I'm like, I can read it. I'm like, this is where we're going, RM. Did we go in here? We're going to go here. And then he talked about how in his mind, he was like, why am I not getting this? I should be good at this. I'm good at everything. I'm smart. I'm intelligent. Why am I not getting this? That would drive me crazy when you get a person who's used to being very intelligent and thinking through things. In the military, is any military, South Korean or American, because I have family members that are in the military, it's not about you thinking. The military is going to think for you. They're going to tell you what to do, how to breathe, how to think. And for those people who really think real hard, that it's hard for them because they're like, well, logically, shouldn't we do this instead of that? And why am I doing this? And why am I doing that? And why, like you get into your own head. And for those people who are like me, are very cerebral and intelligent, and we're thinkers, it's hard for us to deal with somebody, trying to tell you what to do and what you feel and what to think. And you're like, wait a minute. Hold on. Like, I don't think this is the right way we should be. And you're not in command. You're not a sergeant. You're just a private. You're not here to think. Then you're like, but wait, in your mind, you're like, but wait, So I think it was some of that. And it was just heartbreaking to hear him saying how much he cried. And then the other part that was very candid, him saying for the people in the back that the things that were going on with the company affected him, that he felt helpless, that there are things going on. So to all the people, I've done live stream after live streams talking about Minhee Jin and talking about the HYBE. I did videos about like the insider trading, and we're going to talk about that. Things that went on the company, he said, worried him and bothered him. And for the people who are like, oh, BTS is above it, oh, it don't matter. How would it not matter when this is the company that he helped build? That him and BTS, there wouldn't be no HYBE if it wasn't for Bang PD and the other people, but BTS's money helped build that company. We don't know how much shares or how much stock BTS has in HYBE. We don't know. Nobody fucking knows that. So there are people are like, well, oh, BTS. If it's a company I helped build and I'm sitting in the military barracks and I'm looking at the news and I'm reading this stuff and I'm like, I can't do anything. I can't go anywhere. I'm stuck. So he said, yes, candidly, that the things that happened with the company affected him. And so how could it not affect them? And I understand that different members may have not been affected by it like he has, but I can see RM sitting there at night going, what is happening? What is going on? What is all of this? Like, there in these past 2 years, a lot of shit has went down with Hive. Insider trading, the Minhee Jin thing, the Adore thing, the losing money, the investigations, like a lot of things have gone on like that. You know, people who think and advocate for themselves have a harder time in the military. Yes, yes. You can't advocate for yourself in the military, Paula. Yes, right. And then, like it's hard. It's really hard for you to sit back and I consider RM seems to me like a very proactive person, that when things happen, he seems like a problem solver like me. Like when things happen, I can't sleep. I get agitated. I want to solve the problem. Or I want to be like, well, maybe I should do this. But to be stuck in the military and all these things are going around in the company and you're like, wait a minute, like this is my livelihood. This is, regardless of what people feel about Hybe and Bang Shook, regardless, this is BTS's legacy. I've said this over and over and over again, while people try to blow things off in Hybe like BTS is just above it. This is their legacy. This is their legacy. Regardless of whether they're happy with the company or things that go on, I'm sure. And then on top of that, behind the scenes, do you not understand that the things that get out in the media get out the media, but we don't know what really is going on? Like people think that they know, but behind the scenes, I promise you, there are things going on behind the scenes in Hive that we will never know about, that we have never seen, that we have never experienced, that we just don't know. And I respect that. I'm like, okay, there's probably a lot more going on than what we really know. They probably seen things and experience. There are people been fired, y'all. Like I've read stories after story, like small stories that don't get a lot of traction, like things in Korea, like that don't get a lot of traction. The insider trading thing from 2022, there's 3 employees in 2022 that got caught for insider trading. Do y'all know that there's a rumor going around that these people work for BTS creative department, that these are executives that work for BTS 8 to 10 years? There was another guy that got caught last year that I did a YouTube short about, where this dude was cheating fans out of money. He was selling signed BTS merchandise. I don't know if the merchandise was really signed by them. It could have been his personal merchandise that he sold off to fans. He was promising fans like signed merchandise and fan meets. Go look it up. And this guy, he got fired. And it was quietly kind of hush-hush covered up. But he worked on the BTS team. So there are people who've worked with BTS on their team that have ripped them off, that have ripped off fans. Like, do y'all not understand that, like, these people out here, and this happens in every industry. This is not just BTS. But the more money you make, the more it puts a target. So just imagine being in the military, and you're seeing people that you know, like, rip you off, and then there's other things going behind the background that we don't ever see. So God knows what level of heartbreak. I mean, I couldn't imagine how would it feel being in this industry and having a team of people that work with you for 8 to 10 years, and then find out that some of these people are inside in trading, embezzling money, ripping off fans. And you're like, I know that person. I know that person. Like, that person was our manager. Like, I know that guy. Like, what? He did what now? Oh, yeah. Well, he went and embezzled some money and what? And so you're really thinking, well, dang, I can't trust nobody. Like, who can you really trust? And he's sitting in the military and you can't say anything about it to the public. You can't talk to your bunkmates, the people in your unit about it. So you just sit there and just sit on it. You may talk to the other members about it, like, what are we going to do? And everybody may have a difference of opinion. And I think RM really took the stuff with the company to heart, and maybe others too, but he was really candid about that. And that was just very sad to me. Like, the guy who betrayed Jimin, yes, the guy who was Jimin's friend that ripped him off too. And then Jimin had to be embarrassed. Just think how embarrassing that is. Like, I felt so bad for Jim, and I talked about that story briefly because I couldn't just imagine how hard it is to trust somebody and give them thousands of dollars. Like, I think he gave that man like almost $100,000 to invest your money, and then the guy was part of some kind of weird Ponzi scheme. Somebody that he trusted, he knew for years, and ripped him off. And then you're in the military and you can't say nothing. You can't say nothing. You just have to go behind the scenes and get your people, your accountants and business people to try to fix this. Like, okay, fix it. This is, and I'm not saying it made Jimin look bad, but I'm just saying it was just another scandal for the antis and the anti-BTS people to jump on and make fun of. I've read all kinds of things on the internet. People were saying, making fun of Jimin, and like, that was just, But this happens in the business, and with BTS, it's more amplified. But it has happened to other groups, y'all. Don't think that this is not happening to other companies and other groups, because it does happen. But with BTS, things get leaked for clicks and views, and it gets amplified because they are the biggest thing in South Korea. And people are always looking for a chance to bring BTS down and embarrass them. And but these kind of things happen, and people's families have ripped people off. Y'all know this, like, if you from familiar with the entertainment industry, people's cousins and sisters and brothers is constantly blackmailing them and ripping them off. It happens because there's people that you think that you could trust, but then once money gets involved, people, I told y'all before, my saying is money make people act funny. Money make people act funny, honey. You will take your best friend, your bestest friend. I love you forever. You're my best friend. Child, your best friend be you going business with them, and they'll rip you off. You going to business with your brothers and sisters, they'll rip you off in the entertainment industry. How can you watch a JK live? Yeah, Weverse app. You love Sergeant V. I love Sergeant V too. So V just seems like they were all worried about how V was going to do. And V just seemed like he really thrived and flourished in the military. And RM, he went through it. And then the biggest profound thing I want to talk about what RM said, because I watched it 3 times. I watched this because I really wanted to know what he was, was I getting the gist of what he's saying? And so I watched it for a 3rd time. I watched it last night. And he was saying that he took all of his paintings down. He rearranged the furniture in his house, and he got rid of all his clothes. Did y'all catch that? He said he gave away all of his clothes. He said he only had like 5 outfits. He said he took down all of his paintings and put it in storage. RM, who loves art, because he said he feel like, what was the term? That he had like lost his way. I don't know what exactly term he used, but he felt like his life had become too complicated. Like, it became too much excess, like too much stuff, too much clutter. And so he said also in the military, for the first time since he was 14, he had a writer's block, that he didn't write for a long time. He was so distraught. He was so unhappy that he had writer's block. Yeah, Julia, yes. He put all of his artwork in storage. Yeah. Jenny and V are the best couple, by the way, Elena. They are. But I was shocked because RM has priceless artworks. Like, he's collected over the years. He loved art. And RM did not write. He said he was in the military for months that he did not write. First time since he was 14 that he did not write. And so he kept a journal, and he showed his journal on his live. And I'm going to repost, if you guys subscribe to my channel, I'm going to repost the RM live stream. I'm going to do it in 2 parts because it was like an hour long. But I'm going to repost it. And so you guys, and he talked about him making a journal finally and writing down his thoughts and writing down. And then finally, after he had been in the military, wow, it started to get better. But yeah, he said he rearranged the furniture in his house. He put his artwork in storage, and he got rid of all his clothes. And my jaw dropped. I was like, that's an existential crisis. Like, when you go through stuff like that, when you go through life-changing, soul-changing things like that, that is something very profound to share with an audience or to share with your fans. So RM has pretty much, he said he's starting from scratch with his life, that the military affected him that much that he is basically starting over with his life, that he realized all the things that he had surrounding him were just things, that it was not important. And that made me love RM even more. Like, RM almost broke my bias with this Weverse. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. My bias was this close to being broken. I was like, RM is breaking my bias over you, breaking my bias. Because when a man talks like that, and he really understands the truth of his own life, and he's speaking his truth, that's incredibly attractive. That's incredibly sexy. That is incredible. And I love an intelligent man. I love a smart man. And I love a man that realized, that finally gets it, that everything that I have, I'm assuming reading between the lines, did not make him happy. And that he realized that, yes, that all of these things that I have, all these things in my house and my home, wasn't, I could fill my house up with full of artwork, and it still was not making him happy. My bias is sugar. Do I have my own podcast? No, Art by Julia, I do not, ma'am. I've been doing BTS on this channel for less than a year. I started doing my channel started out as a travel channel. It started out as a travel, geography, culture channel, and then I got into BTS by accident. I have a whole video explaining how I got into BTS by accident. I'm new Army. My year anniversary is August the 6th when Sugar had his scooter incident. But Sugar's my bias. I'm slowly but sure. But I'm an artist. I write on Wattpad. Y'all can find me. I'm Nomadic Kitty FF on Wattpad. I write fiction. I do art. I do animation. I do all kinds of art, digital art, physical art, animation. Every short that I have is mine that I make. I do a lot of things, but I'm an artistic kind of person. And like I said, with everybody in BTS, even though Sugar's my bias, I love RM. I'm a rap line girl. I like the rap line. Like rap line is my favorite. Rap line, woo woo. Not saying I don't like the other, but Sugar is my favorite. But RM stirs up my intellect and gets the juices flowing and gets me to thinking. And when he did his Weverse, it really hit me because nobody in K-pop is that candid. And they shy away from being that candid. My friend who is Korean, he served 2 years, and when he came back after completing his service, he was no longer the friend I knew. He turned out to be cold and distant. Yeah, I've heard of that too, Naomi. So I talk to I have several people in Korea that I talk to on a regular basis. And I asked them about their military service. And like I said, every person is different because people have different personalities. Even within BTS, there are going to be some members that that the basic training for 5 weeks was very, very hard. But then once they got to their unit, it's easier. Then some people, it's the opposite. There are some people that did well in basic because basic, everybody's the same level. Everybody is struggling together. But then once you get to the units, then you have people that are higher levels than you. And so you have people, sergeant, corporals, privates. And so you start at the bottom and you have to rise in the ranks, right? Just depending on what achievements. And then they have a lot of testing to do. And then also RM talked about the food. He said that he gained so much weight that when he came back home, he couldn't even fit into his clothes. Like he said, because they call it BX. But yeah, in the military they have like a convenience store and food that they eat, and he ate so much and it was so many noodles and cookies and just a lot of high carb, high processed food that he gained so much weight. So not only did he give his clothes away, but he couldn't even fit in his clothes. He said he felt, and that made him even more distressed mentally. Like, so imagine you going into the military, you have people yelling at you, you're in these hot barracks, and then sometimes they have to do outside training where they're sleeping outside, and then and you don't want to do that. And then like he couldn't sleep, and he was on a CPAP machine, he was taking sleeping pills, prescribed sleeping pills because his sleeping was so bad, he was so exhausted and tired and stir crazy, and that's all bad for your mental health. And then on top of that, you're eating, and then now all of a sudden you're fat. Or he felt like he was fat. So he's coming home on breaks. He can't fit in his clothes. He's looking in the mirror going, WTF. Like, hi, hello, Sugarana. So imagine going through everything that you're going through and then looking in the mirror and being like, oh my God, like what? I am lost control over my life. And I think that RM is a person that kind of likes everything to be orderly and controlled. And so do I. So I just can imagine just coming home, looking in the mirror going, he was saying that, he had gained so much weight that he didn't want to show his face, that he didn't even recognize himself, that he had gained so much weight. And I'm sure he probably spiraled further into like self-loathing and like, I got to get control over this. And what am I doing? Like, and like I'm in a K-pop band. And he said he felt like military service went so slow and that it was never going to end. That he felt a lot of despair because he really felt like it gets to the point where you're in the military. I heard from people that you forget what your real life is like. Like that's how much in mind messes with your head, that you kind of forget what is your normal life. The military life becomes your new normal. And so as time goes on, he just forgot like, okay, like this is like eventually you're going to go back home, but it's really hard to see the forest for the trees when you're in a situation where you're so mentally stressed out and then, things going on with the company, your weight, you can't sleep. Like that's a lot for one person to deal with. And RM is still young. They're still young. Like to me, 30 years old, 31 is young. That's real young to me. That's really, really young. I'm like, he has his whole life to try to like figure out his life, but this is just one part of his life that he'll never forget, and that apparently has profoundly shook him. And he said it was for the better. He said he's learned a lot of things about himself, and it stripped out his ego, like the id. His sense of self was stripped out and replaced with, I don't have to have all of these things in my home. I don't have to do I really got to have all this money and all this? And I think RM is in his own journey. And I don't know what that means for BTS, y'all, because it just sounds like RM is kind of like on his own journey now. And you age 28, you 28, honey, you're young. Gotta go. Bye, Ari, bye, Julia, bye, honey. Subscribe. I appreciate you, baby. I appreciate you. But that's a lot to go through. But it happens. Again, I have lived a lot of life. Me having children profoundly changed me. When I had my first child, it profoundly changed me. And the trauma behind me, the birth of my first child, was traumatic. My child was in the hospital for 2 months. And it was a make or break situation between me and my husband, because I never experienced anything like that. I didn't know if my baby was going to live, my baby was going to die. I didn't know. You saw V dancing? I did see that. I saw that on YouTube. I saw V. We're going to get to V in a minute, because I got some things to say about V. We're going to get to him in a minute. But I've experienced life-changing things. My husband has passed away. I lost my first child. I had a second child, and he was in the hospital for 2 months. All these things have shaped me to be the person that I am today. I did not enjoy going through these things, but it has made me a much stronger person. My parents are passed away. My mother-in-law died last year. So, I've experienced a lot of profound things that happen in your life. And I wish for RM a long life of happiness. And I wish that RM would do what he wants to do in his life. I have a feeling that RM, I don't know how long BTS are going to stay together. I've said it in my other videos. I don't see them staying together for too much longer. But I think that RM now is on his own journey. And I think RM is like, I don't want to do, if he comes and says, I don't want to do this anymore, I will support him and love him and be like, I'm still a fan. Like, if he just comes and says, I just want to be a hermit and I want to, go to a Buddhist temple and become a monk, I would be like, well, RM, that's what you want to do, boo. And maybe he wants to come and perform music every once in a while. I would be happy with it. And I know he has contractual obligations. They all do. But if any one of BTS decides that I can't do this no more, I want to get married, I want to have kids, I want to have a life, I want to disappear. If they just want to run and disappear, or just be producers, or just be writers, or just take a long break, then I would just hope that everybody would respect that, because I respect that as an adult. That sometimes, it's just your life goes in directions that you can't plan. Like, your life just goes, here, there. Like, you can't, life just be lifing, and I think RM has experienced something. And I thought to myself really deeply, like, this doesn't bode well, I think, for BTS. And I think RM loves his fans. He loves the opportunities that BTS has afforded him. He started writing again. He says he's written songs about his experience and his feelings. And he's tapped into something a little bit different than the things that he wrote before. And that's all great. But I just don't see that I don't feel like this is RM's life path. I think RM has so much more to give in his life than BTS. I think RM could be a politician. Mm-hmm. I think RM could be a healer. I think RM could profoundly change people's lives. I think that if he goes on this journey, that he can do something more profound and touch people in ways beyond BTS. So if he ever wants to just go and do his own thing, I'm here for it. Hey, Nick. But yeah, thank you, Naomi. It's been tough. Like I said, losing a lot of people in your life will affect you. But I just think that whatever RM wants to do, I'm like, do you, boo? Do you, boo? So then we come to the flip side of that. V was on the live stream. He was eating quietly. He was eating. You could see that he was looking over at RM with a look. Again, I tell people, whenever it comes to watching Weverses and interviews, I turn the sound down. This is a little hint, y'all out here. This is how I watch a lot of my videos. Whenever I watch BTS members or anybody that's a real person doing a real interview, not like a content creator, turn the volume down and just sit back and watch. Just watch. So just watch, no volume. And then you'll pick up on things. You see people's body language, their eyes, the way a person looks, and you'll catch things. So like I said, when RM and V came out the first time, I could see V's eyes cutting over, and I could see V being happy and smiling and waving, and I could see him looking at RM with this look of like, oh God. And I could see RM was nervous. When they went to salute, you could see RM. He said he was very nervous. His hand was shaking. He didn't know how the fans were going to think about him. And he said his face looked so puffy, and he didn't want to look puffy. And he was self-conscious about that. And you could tell that he was self-conscious. And then when they did the live with the balloons and everything and the cake, you could still tell RM was very exhausted. And you could tell V was kind of quiet and kind of looking at him like, you good, bro? You good? You know, you could see him trying to, and then Jin trying to lighten the mood a little bit. So I could tell something was up by just watching it. And I'm just like, I said, something's going on here. So I could tell that RM was in some sort of distress or something, that he was not happy. He was either really exhausted or upset. And you could tell that V was just bopping along. And so V comes out and does a Weverse, and I reposted the Weverse on my channel. And V was just listening to music, and he was jamming. He was listening to his jazz. He was listening to some trap music. Somebody came on here. I'm not, okay, let me just go out and say, I am not on Instagram, X, or TikTok. I hate TikTok. I did a whole video about how much I despise TikTok, and I just use TikTok to make my videos, but I don't do social media. I have a Facebook account that I'm rarely on, but it's only for my family and friends. It's very private. Instagram, I have an Instagram account. I'm Nomadic Kitty, but I rarely post anything on Instagram. I'm just there. I'm not on X. I have a Blue Sky account that advertises my YouTube. So any account that I'm on social media is just for me to advertise my YouTube and my Wattpad. That's it. I just use it as a way to get to a different audience and just advertise my videos and my writing. That's it. I don't interact with people. I don't subscribe to people's channels. So whatever the BTS members do online, I'm relying upon you fine people to subscribe to my channel and tell me such and such is doing a dance challenge, or this person's doing this. So I have to rely upon you guys. And then, or sometimes I'll see somebody's YouTube shorts. They'll take it from TikTok and repost it. So I saw that he was dancing with a choreographer, and he was as smooth as ever. V being a dancer is very underestimated to me. That people talk about J-Hope and Jungkook and they leave V out the conversation. V is a great dancer. He's a very, very, very good dancer. V is a good dancer. He's pretty good. And so people be sleeping on V. But V came out and did he's posted things on social media. And again, while he was in the military, and from what I've heard, V has flourished. You know, from what I heard, V is out there. He flourished in the military. He was determined to get in shape, and V went out and got in shape, honey. V is a child. Again, Kim Taehyung is not my bias. Sugar's my bias. But baby, I see I see why y'all like this man, because I could see like he's very charming and very very, 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 very sexy. Like he's very charming. He was in the camera and he was just charming. You know, he was just like the charming V. And I was like, okay, V, I see you. And he was listening to music and jamming out and eating. And I was like, oh, V up here living his best damn life, y'all. Up here living his best life, y'all. And I was like, oh my God, like sexy, sexy daddy. So he was up here just being V, doing V things, listening to music. And he did like a 10-minute Weverse, and that was it. He didn't really talk a lot. He was just saying, I missed you guys and blah, blah, blah. And then supposedly that's how V gets down anyway. He's not very long-winded. RM says on his live stream, he apologized. He even wrote a post the other day. RM wrote this really long post, and he says he apologized because he's very long-winded, that everybody says that he likes to talk a lot. And so he apologized. He's like, I know I like to talk a lot, but that's just me. No need to apologize, RM. I like to talk a lot. So I just said that V was looking really, really fit, really good, y'all. Really fit. And he seems like he has flourished in the military. And I congratulate him. And whether he wants to talk about it or not, I respect him, and that's up to him whether he wants to say anything about him being in the military. I respect that completely. So that's all I got to say about V. So then we get on the next day. It was Jimin and Jungkook, and Jimin and Jungkook, Big Hit put out a disclaimer on Weverse saying, for the fans, do not show up at the barracks. They was like telling fans, do not show up. As a matter of fact, when they got released, I think from what I've read that they had to move the location where they got released, because so many the military was like, oh my God, all these people are going to show up. And they don't want to disrupt things at the barracks because there's other people there to pick up their kids and drop their kids off, and other people there on leave that don't want to be bothered with all that. So apparently they moved the location, I think, from what I heard, Chad, they moved the location, right? So, but even though they moved the location, for the press, because the press shows up in droves, like hours, like 8 hours before they're going to be released. The press shows up and they start broadcasting live because that brings them clicks and views. Let's just keep it real. Let's be honest. It brings them clicks and views. So the press shows up really early. And so, and then here comes all once the ladies figured out where the press was going to be at, they started showing up too, right? So they show up. Armies online were getting upset because Big Hit had told people not to show up, but they were going to show up anyway. And of course, Big Hit had security and people there for Jungkook and Jimin. But let me tell y'all something, okay? I did not appreciate that sentiment. I said it in my last video when I talked about BTS fandom and gatekeeping. Again, people were upset, like, all those fans were so disrespectful to show up. First of all, number one, not everybody has Weverse. Again, the only reason I knew Big Hit told people not to line up is, number one, because they did a Weverse post about it. And number two, if you lived in Korea, they actually posted something in the news in Korea. They said about it because to keep people out. Not everybody's watching the news. Not everybody is on Weverse. So that's number one. Number two, there are a bunch of casual fans who just don't care. I'm going to say it for the people in the back. Y'all, there are a bunch of casual fans that are not Army that realize that Jimin and Jungkook or whoever are going to get out the military, and they're going to show up. They don't care what Big Hit has to say. They don't care what Army has to say. They don't give a fiddly fart or a ding dong what anybody on the internet has to say. They're casual fans. Some of these people went with other people. If you have a friend that's Army and she like, girl, Jimin and Jungkook from BTS getting out, girl, you going with me? We going to show up at the gate. Well, I ain't doing nothing. Okay, let's go. Or you ask your sister, or your brother, or your dad, or your mom, your cousin, whoever, to go with you to go at the gate. So you got to think that some of these people are not armies. Some of these people are just onlookers that just want to be there. So the fact that armies were online in comment sections getting mad, talking about, well, these people aren't real fans. Okay, I'm just gonna keep it a buck. As an army, and I know what Big Hit said, but if I was in South Korea for FESTA, a lot of people are in South Korea for FESTA. If I was in South Korea for FESTA right now, and Jungkook and Jimin, they showing up at this gate, do you think Kiki's not going to be at the gate? I'm sorry, I'm a content creator. My ass is going to be at the gate. I'm just putting it out there. Big Hit, I know what they said. Because people were saying that Jungkook and Jimin were trying to talk and the fans were screaming. Jimin and Jungkook are probably two of the most popular members of BTS. You think people are not going to show up? Yeah, they're going to show up. And the people were sitting there saying that these aren't real fans. What? Because they showed up at the gate, they're not real fans? Oh, man, y'all, this is the kind of fan gatekeeping BS I don't like. I am not going to drag anybody for wanting to be there when Jimin and Jungkook get out the damn military or RM and V. If you feel like you want to show up at the gate and you're not trying to storm the gate, you're not trying to hurt nobody, then I said, you know what? Do you? You know what I'm saying? Like, do you? Oh, you Army Day, you met them? Oh yeah, we finna get into somebody trying to break into Jungkook's house. We finna get in that in a minute. But the fact that people were dragging people for showing up, I'm like, and screaming and hollering and yelling, and I'm like, What else are they supposed to do? This is the most exciting thing in Korea. Like, you can't expect people to follow by some quote unquote protocol at Big Hit. And Big Hit knew that they were going to show up at HYBE because Jimin had to come out and say, everybody go home because the road to get to HYBE is very narrow. So they were in front of HYBE and on the side of HYBE, and they didn't want anybody to get hit. So Jimin came out and released a statement on Weverse saying, please leave. If you're standing out here, please leave. Like we don't want anyone to get hurt. And they were polite and nice for doing that. But at the end of the day, HYBE, Big Hit, and BTS members understand that they are international pop stars. They understand that they are going to get mobbed. They understand. I mean, when I say international pop stars, we are at almost at the Michael Jackson level. Everywhere that Michael Jackson went, I grew up Michael Jackson, right? I'm old. I grew up in the Michael Jackson. It was a pop culture moment. Yes. Who is not going to be at the pop culture moment? I grew up in the age of Michael Jackson. Okay. I'm old. I'm real old. So, don't let the looks fool you. I'm pretty old. So I grew up in a time where Michael Jackson, anytime he went anywhere, people would stand outside the hotel and just sleep. It don't matter if it was America, it was Europe, it was Canada, it was Spain, it was Mexico. People would be outside for Michael Jackson. They're almost to that level. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen with their new tour and everything, but it's getting to the point where they are international pop stars. And they understand that, and they should have security to protect for that. But the idea that you're going to tell people not to show up, y'all are crazy. I've never known any pop. If Beyonce goes somewhere, if she's somewhere, people are going to show up. If Taylor Swift shows up somewhere, you think the Swifties ain't going to go running? They're going to show up. Taylor Swift could go to a restaurant, they better shut the restaurant down. Because onlookers and gawkers are going to show up. She is a pop star. BTS are not K-pop people. They're not Korean boy group. They are pop stars. International pop stars. Wherever they go from now on, people are going to know. They may not recognize them, but once people get a whiff that BTS is somewhere, people are going to go just to look, whether they're ARMY or not, because people want to see famous people. I'm not a Swiftie. I don't like Beyonce. I'm not a Beyonce fan. I'm in Texas. If I go somewhere in Texas and I'm like, oh, Beyonce's at a steakhouse, do you think I'm not going to the steakhouse? I'm going to the steakhouse because I want to be nosy. Oh, Beyonce at the steakhouse. Girl, I'm going. Like, I don't even like Beyonce. I just want to see, is she there? I want to look in the window and be like, oh my God, it's Beyonce. I'm taking pictures and putting it on my social media just like everybody else. So it's no disrespect to Beyonce, but it's just them being famous. You know, it's just that's something that they have to navigate. So now we're going to get to something else. So Jimin and Jungkook did they live stream, and they were so cute, y'all. Were they not cute? They were so shy, and they were like, we don't know what to say. We ain't been on camera in a long time. And they looking and they giggling and they looking and they giggling. And then they eating and they're like, should we not eat because we're fat, we're chubby? Jimin was like, I'm feeling a little chubby. I don't think I should eat. And Jungkook's like, I'm hungry. I'm really hungry. And he keeps saying he's hungry. And they just ate the pizza and they ate. And they were so shy. And they were like, well, we haven't been on camera in like 2 years. And they were like, we don't know what. And then it was just awkward silence and them looking at each other and giggling and awkward silence and them looking at each other. And they're like, so, military, it was, I was dying. They were so nervous and being on camera, and they were just nervous, and then they were looking at themselves on camera, and they're like, Jim is like, oh, I don't look good. And I was like, they look like men. I didn't think they looked chubby. I didn't think they looked fat. I think they just look like men. They look healthy. They look adult. They look like they had matured. And I said it before, I'm going to say it again. For me, being somebody of a certain age, I like my pop singers looking mature. I like my pop singers grown and sexy. I like my pop singers grown and sexy, honey. I like them looking like grown men, not like prepubescent little boys. That gives me a real ugly feeling. I'm not into 22-year-olds. I don't want them coming looking like boys next door or TXT, which they're in their 20s. TXT is cute, but I like my men looking like men. I like my men looking masculine, manly. I like them, period. I like a man looking like a grown man because I'm a grown woman. I'm not attracted to a 25-year-old. I'm sorry, JK. I love JK, but JK is attractive, but he's just a little too young for my taste. So I like my men, I like them looking their age. And Koreans, they age slow anyway. So when a Korean dude is 50, they look like they're like 30. So it doesn't really matter. They always still look young. But I like them. I don't like them looking anorexic thin. I don't like sugar when he's stick thin. I know some of y'all like that. I don't like my sugar thin. I like my sugar thick. I like my sugar when he's a little looking a little healthy. I don't, when he got to losing, so when he first started out and Sugar was really, really skinny, he was sexy, but he was, to me, when Sugar got older and let his hair grow out, he was grown and sexy. I like J Hope now. J Hope is grown and sexy. J Hope was cutesy, cutesy, funny, giggly. Now J Hope is sexy. I like J Hope. J Hope didn't got the, he ain't J Hope, he J now. He Mr. J to some of y'all. Mr. J if you nasty, okay? J Hope, Hobie to the uninitiated, J or Mr. J if you nasty. Okay, like if you're feeling nasty, you can call him Mr. J, I feel like. Because Hobie did a whole turnaround. Like he went from like, oh, J-Hope, I bet like, oh, he's a dancer, oh, he's happy. Yeah, J-Hope, yeah, yeah. And then he went from, yeah, 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 cute J-Hope to like, oh, J-Hope, oh. J-Hope is feeling himself and he's in his manhood right now. So, you know, JK look too young for you, looks too young for me too. I like them looking older, you know. Talking about J-Hope loves black women. I can't say anything about that because I've heard that too. Anyway, I won't get into rumors, but I've heard that as well. But I won't get into rumors, y'all. One day I'm gonna do a whole live stream where we're gonna talk about some rumors. And I don't know a lot of rumors, but I know some. I know some about BTS, but I don't come on here. I just throw little hints out here. Y'all know on my live streams, I throw little hints. I throw crumbs to y'all. And then I was like, y'all take it how y'all want to take it. But y'all hear me throw little crumbs and stuff that I've heard from people in the industry. Because I know two people that work in the industry, but it's not HYBE. They work for two other major companies, but you know they hear things in the industry. I can, you know what, but they're just rumors. You take it with a grain. But I don't do rumors, y'all. I don't do that. I mean, one of these days I'm gonna do like a whole membership thing where we really gonna sit there and I'm gonna really talk to y'all. Like we're gonna have some real talks. But Jimin and Jungkook seem so shy and so cute. Like they were just like they didn't know what to say and they were awkward. So then we come to Jungkook that he did have a Saesang sleep in front of his house. I saw the pictures. And then apparently she broke into his house. Now, let me give y'all some context. Jungkook lives in a district of Seoul called Yongsan District. If you go down this district, the roads are real narrow, right? They're real narrow. So you drive up this hill. Don't ask me how I know. So you drive up this hill, right? And Jungkook's house is right there, and it looks like a Cybertruck. His house looks like a Cybertruck, right? It's this big black house, and there's a pool on top, the deck. There's a pool on top. There's a gate. There's cameras, and then there's like an underground garage. Again, don't ask me how I know this, but so his house is like it's kind of like 3 stories. It's like 2 stories, and then there's like the upper deck. So it's kind of like 2.5 stories. And then he has like a side observation thing on like an observation deck on the side. So his house is unmistakable. He had his house built from the ground up. So they demolished something that was there, and they built his house from the ground up. And then around the corner from his house is like there's a nature reserve. But his street is real narrow. So across the street, there's houses and there's businesses, but it's a narrow street. Okay. So last year when his house was finished being built and they were kind of like, you know, they have military vacation. There were crazy people, fans, if you will, they were stationed outside his house. So he had to beef up security because there are people outside his house. There were people sending gifts and things to his home last year, from what I heard. There were people driving by his house, gawkers, onlookers, taking pictures or whatever. Again, this is a narrow street. This is not a busy intersection. This is a narrow street. Okay. The neighbors were complaining. The shops and owners were complaining because of all these people. So they had to get the police out there last year to clear the people out. Okay. And every once in a while, the neighbors will complain and report and call the police because somebody will be lurking a little bit too much. So people walk by, people drive by because they want to see JK's beautiful home. Okay. Let me tell you something about Korea. South Korea and Seoul, the Itaewon district, Yongsan, and the other districts, all of the famous people kind of live in the same area. There's like UN Village, there's Itaewon, there's Yongsan district, there's another district that starts with a G, Guangzhou district, but there's different districts where all the famous people live. All the BTS members don't live that far from each other that we know of, except for Jin. I don't know where Jin lives. I heard that Jin got a new apartment. So all of these people like live not too far away from each other, right? So just because of logistics. Seoul is a big city, but it's a very densely packed in city. There's not a lot of open spaces. There's not a lot of places to build a new home. You really have to, you said Jungkook your baby? Yes. You really have to demolish old property and new properties will come up because there's not a lot of open spaces. Where I live in Texas, there's a lot of open land, open spaces. You can build a home. Most people in South Korea, rich people, do live in homes that have been built and they've moved into. They didn't have a house built from the ground up. It's very expensive to have a house built from the ground up. I think JK's house is worth like $5-6 million. Like, it's pretty expensive. And it's pretty expensive to live in that area anyway, because it's like an exclusive area. So to live in one of these high rise, so JK used to live in one of these high rise apartments, but he had security issues there because people would stand outside of the apartment and police officers had to shoot people off because people would stand outside his where he used to live in this high rise apartment. But it was at least it was a bit more secure because you need a key card to get in, and the underground garage you need a key card, and then there's like a reception desk and there's somebody there, and then they had cameras where people would send the elevator for you, and then you could call for the elevator and then people could drop off food. Anyway, don't ask me how I know these things. I just know. If you know, you know. But so everybody lives around everybody else. Sugar doesn't live that far away from either. But Sugar's moved several times, and I've gotten into that before. There was rumors about Sugar that I won't repeat, but he's moved several times. He's lived in a home. Now he lives in this high-rise penthouse or whatever. And I hear, wait a minute, I hear that Sugar has just moved again. That he's moved February or March, that he's moved again. So when the scooter incident, he was right around the corner from his big high-rise, that apartment, I've heard that he's moved again. Maybe security reasons, maybe privacy reasons, I don't know. Let them inside of Starbucks. Namjoon spoke for all the members. Taehyung bought you a coffee. They were sweet. I believe that there were other K-pop idols present. Oh, Miss Ace. Well, boy. Will I go to see Jin in concert? I am. I just got through seeing Stray Kids in concert, and I'm going to edit the videos. I will be going to 5 K-pop concerts this year. The next concert I'm going to is BB on the 19th, right before my birthday. And then I will be going to see The Rose, and then I'll be going to see Jin, and I saw ATEEZ last year, and I'll be going to see ATEEZ again. So I'm just letting you know that JK's street is very narrow, and it's an area that will become congested, and the neighbors hate it. So this Saesang, which is an obsessed fan, she is from China. So she flew from China, apparently, to come to FESTA, right? Allegedly. I don't know this lady. But they were saying that she camped outside of his home and slept outside of his home. So that was the thing. And apparently they chased her off. I don't know, it was the police or the neighbors chased her. I don't know. So then she came back, and this lady had like bags. She had a suitcase. Like, girl, she had some food with her. She went to the boba cafe. She had a bubble tea with her. She was sipping on her tea. She's just sitting out in front of his home, just like la la la. JK, where are you? And so eventually she got froggy because, again, looking at his home, it didn't look that secure to me. I'm just going to keep it real. Like, looking at his home, I'm like, somebody could really hop that fence. And then, so apparently this lady either tried to break in his home or broke in his home. I read the story and I started laughing. It's not funny, but it's funny. And then apparently, y'all, the update I just read not too long ago is that the police let her go. So the police let her go. The police, they didn't put any security on her travel visa, her travel plans. They just detained her, talked to her, tell her to go on, get now. They told her, go on now, go on. And they let her go. I'm like, y'all just, crazy person go, they was like, and like I said, maybe Jungkook, I'm sure they asked Jungkook, did he want to press charges? Because that's his property. And I'm sure he probably said no, just let her go. So a lot of people were upset that she got let go, but I'm like, I'm sure Jungkook was like, yeah, I don't want any more attention for this. Just let her go. So I'm sure Jungkook didn't want to press any charges or anything like that, or have her followed. You know, he didn't want to make more big of a deal about it than what it was. I'm sure. Um, Saesangs are off the chain. I can't imagine sleeping outside. Someone, yeah, she was sleeping outside. People were taking pictures. They were taking camera and video of her. And the neighbors are probably like, oh, we got another one. Oh, she's sleeping outside. Girl, we got another crazy person out here. Girl, what's she doing? Is that bag? She had bags and everything. Like, she went shopping. She went to go get something to eat. She probably went and got her a BTS t-shirt. She probably went to some of the FESTA events and came back and was like, I'm camping out in front of his house. I'm camping out in front of my man's house. She was like, my man got to come here sometime. My man's is going to be here, okay? So I'm waiting for him. She said, my man's going to be here, okay? I'm waiting for my man, okay? What you hear, girl? I'm waiting for my man. I said what I said. She was waiting for her man, okay? She was like, daddy's home, okay? Daddy's home, and I'm waiting for him. So she's like apparently camped out there for like a couple of days. I was like, she a real one, because I wouldn't, oh, girl, I wouldn't camp out there for sugar. I'm not going to jail for sugar. I know. I'll be like, I got to be in a hotel. It's hot in Seoul right now. It's hot outside. Girl, she was out there hot, sweaty, funky, and then she got tired and she tried to break in the house. I guess she thought he had came back or he was there, and she tried, but apparently he wasn't even there. Like, I don't think he was even there. So I was, somebody girl's crazy. She did, I don't really want to know where they live. Oh yeah, it's public. And so let me say something about this. The K idols, whether they be actresses, singers, they all live in the same area. Some of them live in the same apartment complexes, the gated community plexes, in the same high-rise areas, where they have more security, but it's not very secure. To have a home in South Korea, from some of the stars, that it's common knowledge where they live. These are not hidden, like, oh, well, people don't know. They have whole videos on YouTube about where these people live. It's not anything, it's not a secret where JK lives, or his house being built. It's not a secret. People drive by there all the time. The thing about it is, in South Korea, I don't understand is there's not enough security. I do not feel that JK's home has enough security. I do not feel that having some security cameras and the security system in your home is going to be enough to deter these people. You're going to have somebody, and I know JK don't want to have somebody stationed outside of his home. The police aren't going to do that. He would have to hire private security to kind of drive by his house, which he probably does. There's private security services you can hire that will occasionally check on your property and drive by, like at certain times throughout the day, just to make sure that there's nobody, just to check out the property. So he has enough money that he can hire like a private security company to drive around. And I'm sure that these companies do other famous people's properties. So they'll put you on a list. Don't ask me how I know. Say if you know. But they'll put you on a list, and they have a courtesy officer that'll drive around your home, especially for a lot of people that are out on tour or out filming somewhere, somewhere that they're not going to be home a lot. They know they're traveling. So they do have people that will drive by to check up on your home. It's a service that you can buy. There's plenty of companies that offer private security protection. There's plenty of companies that have like round the clock security services, or just every couple hours they drive by, they check up on your property just to make sure everything is okay. So if he does not have that, I would suggest that he get that, because again, we are not dealing with some K-drama actor or dealing with a member of like Rise. I'm not trying to take a shot at Rise or anything like that. Even with Blackpink, even how famous they are, they live in Seoul. I know where Jenny lives. She lives not too far from, I think she lives in the same complex as Bang PD and Jimin. They live in no, not Jimin. Bang PD, Jimin lives somewhere else. Bang PD, Jenny, and somebody else lives in the same complex that I know of. But those have security. But the idea of someone living in a home, they're not that very protected in Seoul. Um, like I said, when they go on tour, when doing stuff like that, like their official BTS stuff, of course they have security and stuff like that. But when they're just living their lives, unless they hire private security, it's just really not. Is I just think that nobody has really prepared for the lifestyle of being a famous pop singer in Korea. I think that BTS, it just seems to me that maybe some of them are kind of like living in this illusionary bubble to think that they can live normal lives. And I think if their popularity grows, as they become more famous, they're just going to have to understand that they're not going to be able to live normal lives. And that's just price of fame. I said it before in my live stream. If y'all think that BTS doesn't understand that they live in situations where they can't just freely go where they please, maybe in South Korea they can. But if they lived here, they couldn't. I mean, if they lived here, depending on where they lived, they probably could live more of an anonymous life. They could come to a smaller city, a smaller town, in any state in the United States, and people really wouldn't bat an eyelash to them. But as they stay in Korea, they're going to have to understand that they're not going to be able to live a life of, I can just go to the grocery store real quick. Like that life for them in Korea, if they don't understand that it's over, the more popular, it's really going to be over, because people are going to start flying from other countries to come see them here, to see if they can run into them. People know where they live. People have disposable incomes and they crazy. They gonna come to Korea and try to find one of them. And Saesangs are crazy. Nothing stops a Saesang. It don't matter if it's money or distance or time. In New York City, most live in harmony with celebrities. Yeah. Um, Koreans tend to be trusting people, yes, and seem to be. They is one of the safest countries. That is very true. Korea is very safe. My sister-in-law, she just went to Korea 3 weeks ago, and she went to Korea in October. Korea, I can tell you for a fact that Korea is very safe. You can walk around the streets. There's not a lot of crime. It's a very beautiful, safe country. However, they have never experienced anything like BTS in Korea. Like most of the celebrities can they get recognized, people leave them alone, but that's Korean culture. As they become more popular and people come from other places to see them, other countries and international fans, we are not that calm, we are not that pleasant, and we are not that polite. So as they travel for BTS and they go other places, and I understand that they have a lag time between going from one. So sometimes they want to see the sights, just like any other group. If they go to New York or LA or something and they're recording or doing business, then they're going to want to go out to eat. They're going to want to do things like that, and they can do that for now. But I don't know how long, depending on where they're at, how anonymous they can be. Again, in America, it's a lot easier because it's just some Asian guy. People really are not going to pay too much attention. But I don't know how much longer in Korea are they going to be able to just go to the grocery store and live their lives and do things in Korea. Like I don't I think as time goes on and people start to recognize them more and more and know that they're out, then you have more crazy fans out there. It's just as BTS grows beyond anything that anybody's ever imagined, like I think that like they're gonna have to do something more about safety, especially in their homes. Like when they go out, they can have a security guard person with them, but in their homes, the way JK's house is set up, I'm just gonna be honest with y'all. I'm just like, that wouldn't fly here. I mean, in America, we have like whole gated communities. They don't really have that in Korea. They don't really have a whole like gated areas. Here we have a whole gated. I mean, I've lived in a exclusive gated community where you got to have a badge to get in. They don't really have that in Korea. Like I'm like, ain't no gated communities here. They're like, what's that? I'm like, so people can't go to your home? They were like, nah, we don't really have that. I'm like, y'all don't have whole. Seoul is so densely populated. Like I said, it is so compact. The streets are really narrow a lot in Korea, really narrow. Like one car can get in and get out. The streets are really small. A lot of the streets are narrow. Like I'm not talking about highways or major thoroughfares. I'm talking about streets where people's homes and cafes are on. They're very small and people just walk around at all times of night. And I'm just like people walking around 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm looking like, So y'all just walk around here? Like, I'm not used to that. I'm from America. You can't be walking around 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. You're gonna get snatched up in the United States, baby. I don't care what city you in. It's dangerous. Walking around people walk around in Korea 2 o'clock in the morning. There's clubs still open. There's 24-hour malls that people wander into. Like, it is a very, very safe place to live in Seoul. But as to being BTS, I just think that they need more security, and they're kind of taking it for granted that, oh, we're in Korea, we're safe. I'm like, shh, these people crazy because it's foreigners that are usually doing this. Korean as a whole are more respectful. Yeah, people are not respectful in other countries. They don't care about that. Seem to have a humble spirit. They're not too big for any situation or above any situation. I think so, yeah, but BTS are a different caliber. BTS is on a whole nother level than Korean celebrities. They should be careful. Yes, they should be careful, and not just Korea doing their security. BTS have enough money that they have to protect themselves. They have to be responsible for their own security, especially of their. If you're gonna have a home like JK has a home, and you don't have a guard or a badge to get in like they do with these high rises, then they're just going to have to be more mindful of their privacy, and not just your security but your privacy as well. Like, if JK want to have somebody over or somebody show up at his house, he got to kind of be careful, because dispatch, y'all know the Korean media is on them. Y'all know the Korean media will come out the bushes like y'all know dispatch will be around the corner like this, looking to see who goes to his home or doesn't come to, what I'm saying? Like, it's not just about security, but it's about privacy as well. So if you are having friends over or family over or other people over, or JK wants to date and he wants to have a girl over, it's privacy. Your neighbors are going to be looking, and then also trying to sell pictures and things to dispatch, and then dispatch and Korean media are gonna be they be playing, how dispatch do, y'all. The Korean tabloids will be I spy with my little eye who's there rolling up on JK's house. Now since they're out, when they were in the military it was easier, but now since they're out, they really have to be careful about the tabloids and the media trying to do everything that they can to get a click and view. So dispatch is like Korean TMZ. Yeah. Dispatch is on them. Dispatch be hiding in the bushes. They be up in trees. Dispatch. Dispatch will go to a restaurant and disguise themselves. They be sitting in the back at the restaurant. They be ordering food, and they just be eating and be looking. And then taking pictures. Baby, they be up and down your street. I say, y'all don't know dispatch be rolling around looking for people. Through 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, baby, dispatch be rolling around in cars with. They be rolling around in cars just looking like average citizens, and they just be sticking their camera out the window, driving by, trying to drive. They be peeking around the corner. They be in other people's apartments and other buildings, trying to find them in some kind of dating scandal, cheating scandal, anything. Like dispatch will be everywhere, trying to find a Korean celebrity to slip up. So it's not just about security, it's about privacy too. So I would suggest any BTS member, if you're going to build a house, have high walls. Them JK walls not that high, y'all. I was looking at that wall, I was like, he has a big black gate with security cameras. And the gate comes up and he can drive through the gate to his underground garage, right? Again, don't ask me how I know. But like, the gate is not that tall. Like, it's not like this ultra super privacy gate. He also has a back entrance. Maybe I shouldn't be telling you. You know what? Let me shut up. Allegedly, he has a back entrance too. That's like down this private alleyway. That he does have a back entrance to get into his home, like a back entrance in the back, like a back gate thing. Allegedly, supposedly. That's what I heard. Okay, so there is a semblance of security, but I don't think that's enough privacy and security to really stop anybody who really wants to take pictures and do things like that. I just don't think that that's enough. And I think that they kind of take it for granted. People are crazy. Like, people are nosy. And dispatch is looking to catch BTS slipping in anyway. If we have not learned anything from the Sugar situation, you know that the Korean media are on BTS's asses 24/7. Since they've gotten out of the military, I promise you, Dispatched and had like 4 meetings before they got out. Dispatched and gathered all their photographers and reporters like, BTS about to get out the military. Boys, we got to get on it. Okay, I need you to be over in this district. I need you to be over in this district. You be hiding in the bushes. You be on the trains and the planes. I'm telling you, Dispatch had a meeting before BTS got out the military, and they are like, look, all hands on deck. They're getting out the military. We need all hands. We need all freelance reporters, all freelance photographers, all you nosy people. We need to deputize everybody. All hands on deck. BTS is out the military. I'm telling you, like, y'all think I'm being funny, but I'm kikiing, but I'm saying something right now. So if y'all don't ever underestimate the Korean media, the Korean tabloids, whether it's Dispatch or not, y'all don't underestimate these people. The moment BTS got out, they was on them. They be circling around the block looking for somebody to slip up. They're looking for a dating scandal. They looking for something. They're waiting for somebody to leave somebody's house at 3:00 in the morning doing a walk of shame. They ready for it. Because they know if they catch a Sugar, then it's going to be 1,400 more articles and thousands of clicks and views. Advertising rates are going to go up, and they're going to make lots and lots of money. So they are ready for anything to happen. Since ain't nothing happen, they're waiting for Sugar to get out because they're ready to pounce on top of Sugar the moment his ass get out the military. Which brings me to my other point. And Sugar being my ult. Sugar's my ult. If you're new to my channel, make sure you like, share, subscribe to the video. But Sugar's my ult. This is the wait. First of all, before I get into that, let me say this right here. I am a safe space for new fans, older fans, younger fans, international fans, casual fans, solo fans, LGBTQIA fans, straight fans, everybody. I accept anybody and everybody who come to my channel and you act like you got some sense. I don't discard anybody. I don't discard nothing. I have ATEEZ fans here because they know I went to ATEEZ concert. I went to a Stray Kids concert. I got to put my vlog together. I welcome all stays. I welcome all blinks. I welcome A-Tiny's. I welcome all of you guys. You love my glasses? Thank you, my alphabets. And I welcome everybody from all over the world who come to my channel. And I appreciate everybody who subscribes, who comes to my channel, comes to my live streams. I appreciate all of y'all. So I just like to put that out there. I welcome everybody. I'm not one of these armies that are going to scold you and tell you what you should or shouldn't be doing. And you are a grown person. You make your own decisions, whether it where it comes about BTS, and you do what's good for you. So that's what I have to say. But when Sugar comes out, I wonder a few things. Number one, I wonder if Sugar is going to stand out there in front of the press like all the rest of the members did, because he is in civil service, so it's a little bit different. However, he's still in the military. Now, he's not coming out from a barracks, but is he going to stand out in front of some designated location and stand out in front of the press? That's number one. Number two, if he stands out there in front of the press, is he going to take questions? Are they going to bring the flowers out to Sugar? Are other members going to meet him out there, or is he going to stand out there by himself? Because the idea to me of Sugar standing out there by himself seems very lonely and bleak to me. Maybe I'm the only person. Maybe I'm just in my feelings. Maybe I'm feeling some type of way because Sugar's my ult and my bias, and I feel like he needs support. But I just feel like if Sugar gets out there and stands up there by himself, I'm going to feel I'm just going to feel a little bit type of way about that, y'all. I'm just going to be honest. Now, I know the other members may or may not can show up and maybe security reasons, but I'm just going to tell you that me personally, I'm going to feel some type of way about that if he's out there standing out there by himself. Number two, if he does stand out there by himself, are you going to take any questions from the press or whatever? Because, the press asks their little stupid questions. And then if he does take questions for the press, what kind of questions are they going to ask? Are they going to ask about the scooter incident? Is Sugar going to drop the mic on their asses and walk off and get in the van and drive off and be like, to hell with you? I would love to see Sugar the moment somebody like Minyungi CC. So can you tell you how you feel ever since your scooter incident? I want Sugar to be like, and I want him to just turn around and walk off. I'll be like, that's my dude, that's my man. That's my man. He did that. I want him to look and be like, I know this. And I just want him to turn around and walk to the van. Like, that's what I want him to do. I want him to drop all the microphones. They give him the little microphone. I want him to drop it and turn around and walk to the van. They ask some dumb, because I have a feeling that somebody's going to try to ask him something dumb. And so he's either going to have to ignore it or just shake it off and move on. My other point of concern, if he does stand up there, what is Sugar going to look like? Like, is he going to look like a deer trapped in the headlights? Is he going to come out and be just his normal self, deadpan and stoic? Are people going to make a big deal about it if he doesn't really talk a lot? And then the other thing that the other worry is, what if Sugar doesn't come out there at all? What if Sugar gets out the military and he don't come out and do the media thing? Then what does that say? I don't know how I would handle that. I think that Sugar's going to come out and do the media thing, y'all. But at this point, I don't even. They're talking about the reunion happening tomorrow, and I'm going to watch it on Weverse and everything. But I don't know if Sugar's even going to, if the military is going to let him do like the quote unquote alleged reunion tomorrow at J-Hope's FESTA concert. I think BTS is going to show up. They talked about them practicing dancing. They wouldn't be practicing dancing if they weren't going to, I don't know. The Sugar factor, it has me a bit concerned. And I don't know if I'm going to get on live stream. I had to come on here and start cussing on my live stream afterwards, because if Sugar does not come out and does an interview, I don't know what that means. Like, if he doesn't come out and say anything and they're like, Sugar has been released, and he doesn't do a Weverse live or nothing, that's going to be really awkward, y'all. That's going to be really, really weird, really strange. And the fans are going to be upset. I love Sugar. He didn't take it or listen to it. You don't think he'll do the press? He said he will. Taehyung said he will quietly exit his civil service. You think so? I know a lot of people that I don't know, y'all. That would just be weird to me for him to quietly exit his civil service and not say anything. Maybe all 7 will do a lot. That would be really sweet if all 7 would do it. That would make my birthday. Y'all, Sugar gets out like right before my birthday. So it's like a birthday. I'm having like a birthday Sugar BTS cake. So I'm having like a BTS extravaganza because it's my birthday when Sugar gets out, and I'm celebrating my birthday. And so I don't know. We'll see, because I would consider it very strange and odd and very disrespectful. I mean, it's whatever Sugar wants to do. At the end of the day, if Sugar's like, no, I don't want to do the media thing, and no, I don't want to come out and do that, I totally respect his idea. But what I don't want is somebody telling him not to do it. He's going to have a sick diss track. Hopefully. He's not going to answer no stupid questions. You think Miss A said, he ain't answer no questions. Miss A said, Sugar ain't got it to do. Sugar's like, I ain't answer your dumbass questions. I would be really shocked if Sugar didn't come out and wave to the cameras and take photos and let Dispatch and all those horrible people, because they have to get their photo. Y'all know how I feel about the Korean. If you don't know how I feel about the Korean media, if like I said, you stick around long enough, you'll see how I feel about the Korean media. I have no love for the Korean media. None. Ever since the Sugar incident, and I went off last year and I did my first BTS live stream and I came on here and I went off. I have no love for the Korean media. The fact that Sugar had to stand up there and do a damn photo line and get up there and bow and bow and bow and bow and do a statement and talk to the press, and had to sit there and grit his teeth and get up there and be like, I'm sorry, and prostrate himself. And even after he did all that, they still dragged him. Whew. Whew, Jesus Christ, amen. And they still dragged him. After he wrote an apology letter after apology letter. Jennifer said, calm your ass down, girl. Y'all, my sister is watching this right now. She talking about calm your ass down. I can't help it, but he had to get up there and bow and bow and bow, and then and they still got dragged. Girl, I can't. Ooh. That just makes me mad. So that's the curious factor for me. So everybody weigh in. Like, some of y'all think he's going to show up and not answer any questions. Some of y'all think he's not going to show up at all. Some of y'all think he's just going to quietly. What are they going to do? Put a statement out on Weverse? Min Yoongi has exited. What if we like, hi, this is Big Head. What if Big Head released a message on Weverse talking about, hey, everybody, this is Big Hit. And we would just like you to know that Sugar has been discharged from civil service. I'd be like, did Big Hit just release an announcement? Because the pressure is on. Like, everybody else did Weverse videos and multiple videos. And Taehyung is on TikTok just wait a minute, hold on. Let me put down my computer, my work computer. Taehyung is on TikTok just chest bumping and oh yeah, get into it. Get into it. Like, Taehyung is over there dancing. I'm like, he dancing on TikTok. He over there getting into it. Get into it. Yeah. And so I'm like, the RM is over here like exposing his soul on Weverse. He talking about the military. Oh my God. And then, that's not you. Jennifer said, I hope that's not what he did. Girl, he was dancing. Taehyung was dancing. He was getting it. He was with the choreography. He's breaking it down. Hey. He was breaking it. Taehyung is over there listening to music, talking about, hey. I was like, okay, Taehyung. And then RM is over there bearing his soul and just going through emotions and talking about his military service and how depressed and just, oh my God, I went through it. J-Hope is over here thirst trapping everybody. And J-Hope got everybody in the choke on the thirst trap. Jen's over here playing with puppies and doing 10 interviews. And then what Sugar gonna do? Gonna come out the military and just be like, hey guys. Hey guys. Hey y'all. It's me, Sugar. I mean, what is he gonna come out and say? He could be on the Weverse with a cat cake, a cat balloon, and talk about, I'm back. Yep. I'll be like, what the fuck? Yeah. And then, yes, I would love him to come out with a diss track. August D will rise from the ashes. You'd be like, August D is here. He'd be like, bye, Sugar. Go sit down somewhere. Give me the mic. August D is back. Like, the Korean media gets no love from me because they just scandalous. I can't even take them serious. Like, about anything. Like, anything, I'm just like, okay, y'all ain't serious. Like, y'all, everything is a scandal. It doesn't matter what it is. Oh my God, somebody breathed wrong. Scandal. Somebody got asthma. Bitch, they got asthma. It's a scandal. Oh, they have an inhaler. They didn't tell nobody they was asthmatic. Scandal. I mean, anything's a scandal. Anything. They was at a restaurant and they told the waiter to bring them some water and they said it a little bit too forcefully. Scandal. Dispatch, get on it. Min Yoongi was at a restaurant. He told the waiter to get him some damn water. He said it a little bit too forcefully. 9:00 tonight, we're going to do a whole expose. I mean, I'm like, BTS members, they can't even breathe wrong. And then we have exclusive footage where Min Yoongi is asking for water in a very forceful manner. And it's just video of Sugar going, can I have some water right now, please? Can I have some water? There you go. He's rude. He's entitled. Yup. He's arrogant. He asked for water just a little bit too hard. He had a little bass in his voice when he asked for that water. Yup, Min Yoongi, straight up jerk. Yup. He didn't let the fame go to his head. He didn't say please after he got his bottled water. Oh no, y'all. BTS, have they really lost the plot? Oh my God, BTS, they high and mighty now. They asking for water and they didn't say please. Like, Lord have mercy. That is my insane. That is how I think of the Korean media. Anything to drag BTS, they gonna find it. They gonna be like, shh, you can't even sneeze wrong. You true. Or you didn't say bless you. I knew it. Bangtan, I knew it. You guys think y'all better than anybody else because you sneezed and didn't say excuse me. I'm telling you, like, they be on it. It's crazy. So I don't know. I am anxiously awaiting for Sugar to get out again. For somebody who's waited almost a whole year because everybody else is enjoying their biases and they just having a good time and they posting things on Weverse, and Jungkook went live in December for Christmas and everybody's like, "Woo, look at Jimin looking good. Oh, look at Jungkook, oh, breaking into his damn house. And oh, look at V looking hot and fit. Oh, look at RM looking so serious and cute. And then here I am going, okay, so us Sugar fans are like, yeah, that's good for everybody. Great, yeah. Yep, sitting around here waiting for Sugar to show up. Just birthday come, no Sugar. Wait, first let me go back. Christmas come, no Sugar. Sugar didn't. Korean New Year's, no Sugar. Birthday, I was for sure. I was like, Sugar gonna show up on his birthday. Watch y'all. I watch March 9th show up. Sugar didn't write a message. He didn't do a picture. They posted some old pictures on Weverse, and that was it. He didn't even show up for his own birthday. So I was like, okay. So now June 13th, people are like, well, maybe Sugar's going to show up. Maybe the military is going to let him perform. I wouldn't be surprised if Sugar doesn't perform June 13th. If they do perform, I think Sugar may or may not be there. It's the 50-50. And so he comes out the 21st. We are all expecting, a lot of us are expecting a press conference and Sugar to say something. And if he doesn't say something, I'm like, we are DEFCON 10 because we are in high territory. We're waiting patiently for Sugar. So true. The Korean media seems to do that. Jungkook was filmed smoking a cigarette. He's an adult. They try to make a scandal. Like, yeah, they made a scandal out of Jenny from Blackpink vaping. She said, Taehyung says no updates, MIA. Yeah, Sugar been no updates. He been missing in action, baby. I'm just like, I just want him to show up and show the haters that there's no reason for him to, and I understand that. Because some people are blaming the company. They're like, well, the company's telling him to be in hiding. I don't think the company, I think if Sugar didn't want to be in hiding, he wouldn't be in hiding. I don't think the company can tell BTS anything anymore. I think they do whatever they want to do for the most part, like long as it's not something scandalous. I think if Sugar wanted to come out and get on Weverse and just say hi. On his birthday, he didn't have to show no picture. He'd just be like, hey guys, how y'all doing? Happy birthday to me, and said something cute, and then that was it. He didn't have to reply. He didn't have to say anything. That's all he had to say. But I think that this is Sugar's doing. I don't think that anyone's making him not. I think he just wants to lay low. But I'm like, Sugar, you can't hide forever. I mean, what is he going to do? Hide forever? He can't hide forever. Like, he's going to have to come out. You just have to, like I said before, rip the Band-Aid off and be like, I'm here, and stand in front of the cameras and be like, I'm here. I'm not going to be embarrassed. I'm not going to feel like I'm a pariah or I'm this awful person or have like this look like I'm all sheepish and bashful and self-loathing. No, Sugar should get up there and hold his head up high and be like, I'm Min Yoongi, I'm Sugar, I'm August D, I'm one of the founders of BTS, and I'm not going anywhere. I done wrote half these damn songs and composed these damn songs. I don't know where y'all think I'm going anywhere. And he doesn't have to say that, but his attitude should be like, I have nothing to be embarrassed about. It's been almost a year. Like, just hold your head up high and let the chips fall where they may. And yes, the media is going to drag him. And yes, the antis are going to drag him. But, I mean, what can you do about it? There's nothing you can do. If they're not over it by now, they're never, like, even the stuff with what's his face from Squid Game, with T.O.P. from Squid Game. Even after all these years, he was in Squid Game and everybody loved Thanos and everything. People are still dragging him. Like, he was pretty much ostracized and kicked out of the business because of his T.O.P.'s marijuana trial. I did a whole video about T.O.P., by the way, about Thanos from Squid Game, about how, he's like a legend in Big Bang. He's one of the legendary, like, early K-pop groups, and people were still hating on him. Even after what happened, it was like back in 2017 or 15 or whatever, that he was caught smoking marijuana or whatever. He got kicked out of the military, and it ruined his whole career. And it's been like almost 10 years, and people are like still punishing him for it to this day. And they didn't want him to be in any of the Squid Game promotions and all that stuff. I love T.O.P. Like, I was like, I like T.O.P. I like him. I was like, oh my God. And then he was in Squid Game. Everybody went crazy over him. So yeah, BTS is not a high moneymaker. Stocks went up the day that BTS, You have a real awful cancel culture, Letitia. Yes, real bad cancel culture. Haters will always be haters. Yeah, you can't do nothing about it. You can't do nothing. You can't please everybody. But BTS has so many fans beyond Korea. They have so many international fans that they have done the something that no other K-pop group has done, which is transcend Korea. So really, it's like whatever the Korean media has to say. I understand that they care about their reputation and that's their home country and all that. But sometimes you have to go where life takes you. You have to go where the journey is going to take you. And I just feel like if Suga feels like his career has ended in Korea, then maybe it's his time to do something else. Like if it's really that bad for him when he gets out and people are still shunning him or they're losing deals because of him, which again, I've heard things. But that certain people don't want to collaborate with Suga behind the scenes because of the scandal. And I get it because anytime someone gets in a scandal, they don't want it to go over to them. And so like everybody in the entertainment industry just kind of freezes because they're like, should we work with him? Should we not work with him? Like, oh my God. So I understand that people are apprehensive to collaborate with him or have him produce their music or write their music because they don't want to be caught up in some kind of scandal backlash. So a lot of people in the industry right now, from what I heard, are like in a holding pattern. Like they're waiting to see what the media is going to do when BTS all shows up and whether there's going to be another media backlash before trying to collaborate or work with Suga. Because from what I hear, that they're going to do solo projects first. That's what I heard. Now, y'all didn't hear this from me, okay? Y'all didn't hear this from me. But what I heard was that when they come back, that they have been working on solo projects. Hey, May Bunny, hello. Breaking news: no discharge. So there's no discharge ceremony. Someone sent an article. What? Y'all got me tripping over here. I'm like, what? I gotta look that up. MTeo. JK going on tour. Yeah, I've heard all kinds of things. I've heard of JK dropping a solo album. I've heard that a lot of solo stuff, but I haven't heard anything solo stuff for Suga. I don't know, so I don't know. The thing that some of these beautiful K drama stars can become depressed from being dragged to the media. We in the US love Suga. We're like, come on, Suga, come here. Come to Texas. There's plenty of land. Suga, you can build a house down the damn street from where I live. There's plenty of land where I live. He can build his own little house and compound. Nobody would even bother him. Nobody would bother him. He can create music, write music behind the scenes. Suga has options. He doesn't have to really be in BTS. Suga can go write music, compose music inside and outside of Korea. You know, I hope that's not what he did. He's not safe. No, Jennifer said he's not safe in Texas. Jennifer, look, just don't be a hater. Hold on. He's not safe in Texas. You need to go somewhere else. Look, don't destroy my dream, Jennifer. Just let me be the Delulu fan for a second. Just throwing it out there. Just, if you really want to get away, there's plenty of land here in Texas. We're down the street. I'm just saying. Just let me shoot my shot real quick. But yeah, I mean, I just feel like if it's true that there's not going to be a ceremony, then I think that they really need to prepare the fans for that. I don't think it needs to be June 21st or June 20th. And they're like, surprise, there's not going to be a ceremony. Ha ha. Like, I think that there's something that they need to release saying that there's not going to be a ceremony. I don't want them to surprise the fans. I don't want the fans to be anticipating things that are not going to happen because it's just going to piss Army off. Like Army's already pissed off. A lot of us Suga fans are annoyed anyway by the lack of news about Suga, and how the other members don't really mention Suga. Like it's this. I'm just going to be honest, y'all. This gives me a really weird feeling. Like I'm trying to be positive and be like, everything's going to be cool. Everything's going to be fine. Kiki says everything's going to be fine. But I am having this real, I don't know. There's something in my heart that has me having a feeling. And I don't know what kind of feeling it is. And I be trying to suss it out sometimes. And I try to like read articles and try to get rid of this feeling. But something deep inside me is telling me that this is not going to turn out the way that I envision it. Because again, in my mind, I think Suga should just come out and just be like, I'm Suga, I'm in Yoongi, here we are. But I just have a feeling that like, this is not going to be the way that I think it's going to go down. And I'm just going to be like in shock. I'm just going to be like, what? What is happening? And it's gonna give me lots of stuff to talk about, but I just feel like, he should come out and just be like, whatever. But I don't think, I just have a feeling something in the back of my brain is telling me, no, that's not gonna happen. You know. All the BTS members look hot and handsome. They do. They look really good. Do you think they're jealous of Yoongi? I think that they don't. I think some of them are jealous of BTS. Period. In my heart, he's going to take. Letitia Jones says in her heart, she feels that he's going to take some time off from BTS, but he will return. That's Letitia. That you put it perfectly. That's how I feel. I really do feel that way. Like something is telling me that like he'll get out of the military and just be like, I'm not coming back yet, and I'll be like, and we all gonna be like, what? Like I really feel like something is telling me that this is not gonna go the way that I think. Yeah, it's weird to remember. Thank you, Camilla Tia. Is it not weird that they just kind of skip over Yoongi? And I'm like, it's like Voldemort. It's like it's like Yoongi is like Voldemort. It's like don't say his name, don't say the V word, don't say the S word. It's kind of weird, like they don't say his name, a lot. And I'm just like, but it'd be like Jimin told me this and JK told me that, Sugar and RM. And I'm just like, wait a minute, did you just say the S word? Like, go back. Like, they really don't mention him. They don't really mention him a lot. And I'm just like, why don't they mention him? And I'm just like, that's weird. Strange. Allegedly instructed not to. I could believe that. I could believe that them telling, but I don't know. And like I said, I don't know if this is a self-imposed exile or is this like a real thing? Like, is this like him wanting to do this, or is the company PR telling him you need to lay low? But like I said, I just can't reconcile in my mind Sugar being told what to do. I think Sugar would be like, he would do what was best for the group, and maybe he was told this is best for the group. And maybe he's like, okay, this is best. Whatever's best for the group, I'm going to do. Because I think Sugar is a team player. I think he would do what was best for BTS. And maybe they've told him this is what's best for the group, And what he wants to do, yeah, he can do more writing and producing. Sugar has more options. He's up there with RM. Like they have a lot of options being writers. And like I said, I've said it before, I could see Sugar creating his own production company. I could see Sugar creating his own production company and working as a producer and a composer and a writer and creating his own like behind the scenes like studio with other writers, like being in a collective with other writers and them writing songs all over K-pop and them producing and writing songs for inside HYBE for now, but then maybe outside of HYBE as time goes on, and maybe even further, maybe international for international stars and singers like he's always done. So I could see him creating his own company and just doing his own thing, and I could just see him just wanting to do his own thing and just stay behind closed doors. And then if he's behind closed doors, he doesn't have to deal with the press and dancing and, and deal with he can go live his life and, live his life, date, get married, have kids if he wants to, and just be behind the scenes. And to be honest with you, writing and producing is where the money is at. Because writing and producing, you're writing and producing not just for BTS, you're writing and producing for groups and singers all over Korea, all over the world. Thank you, Miss Ace. Thank you very much. She said I'm Delulu and want him to drop a whole album on Discharge. She said she want him to drop a. Melissa said I want him to drop a whole album, just going in on everybody. Melissa said she wants June 21st to be the new D-Day. She said June 21st is going to be the new D-Day. And he's going to drop bars. And he's going to come out swinging. Like that. Melissa said that's her fantasy. He just going to come out with a mic in his hand and be like, just start dropping off bars. I'll be like, damn, he told her, just tell everybody off. Just go off on everybody. I'm like, go off, King, go off. I would be watching my screen. I'd be watching my Weverse like this. I'm like, did he just tell everybody off? Oh damn! Like, oh, I can imagine the fallout behind that. Like, it'd be all over the news. It's like Sugar done got out, BTS Sugar done got out the military, told everybody off, and dropped the mic and ran off. Girl, the whole internet would break. Everybody be like, "Did you just see?" I don't think he would do that. I would love for him to do that, just to show them all, just to be like, "Ugh." Like all this stress I didn't went to. You had me up here stressing for, and God knows how stressed Sugar has been for over a year. You know, about him not even wanting to embarrass his group, embarrass himself. You know, you could just, like, I could just imagine your Sugar come. You know, I hopefully Sugar had to support his family, because I could just imagine, you know, Sugar has a Korean family and his parents just like, "What'd you do?" He'd be like, "But Mom, I took the scooter home and I didn't think it was going to be that big deal." I could just imagine his parents like, "What'd you do? You just ruined your career." I could just imagine the shock his parents had for him. I could just imagine his parents probably went in on him a little bit, like, "Why'd you do this? Like, what were you thinking?" Because I know as a parent, if this was my son, I'd be like, "What were you thinking? What the hell?" I can imagine me just mad at my son, like, "Did you just ruin your whole career? Like, Junior, did you what? Why did you leave? Why didn't you call somebody to come pick you up? What?" Like, that would be my reaction as a parent. "What'd you just do? Did you know you embarrassing me?" Cause y'all gotta know how Asians are. Cause the parents are like embarrassed too. Cause the parents are hanging around their other relatives and friends, and they looking at them like, "Oh, I see Yoongi got in some trouble." And then imagine like the moms. I just imagine being a mom and then having friends, and then have your friends looking at you like, and they want to say something, and they're like, "So, Yoongi, I had some trouble," and you're like, "Damn it. Like, I gotta answer these people. Like, I just came here to play mahjong, and these chicks over here." "I'm just over here to play bridge with the bridge club," like, come on now. Did I hear BTS member Samantha said, "Did I hear all BTS members plan to move and become citizens?" I have not heard that. I wouldn't advise them becoming citizens of the United States. This is a hostile territory. Right now, in the United States, we have a lot of problems, things going on here. I don't know if it'd be well equipped for foreigners. To be honest with you, I don't know if we're a foreigner-friendly country, even for BTS, but they would find peace here. They could live any place they want to live, and they would find peace. Like, they could live a life of anonymity. Like, they could really live somewhere and nobody would even pay attention to them. Like, they may, maybe a few armies that would hit them up, but if they would come here and live, I think people would leave them alone for the most part. I think people would, they could probably walk around and people probably wouldn't even, people wouldn't bat an eyelash, especially when you come to some areas where there's a high Korean population. Like, in Carrollton, Texas, has, like, where I live, I'm just saying, Carrollton, Texas, we have one of the highest expat Korean communities in America. And they could come here and live in Dallas and fit in. Nobody would bat an eye. Nobody would even know who they were. So this is Sugar we're talking about. As RM said, it breaks you as a person. A lack of ego and personality. Sugar will be set in default and be super quiet as he always been. Transitioning back will be hard. Yeah, I think Sugar transitioning out of the military, even though he's in civil service, that will be difficult. And then transitioning back into BTS will be difficult. And then on top of that, the thing with the scandal is going to be difficult. It's going to be hard. Just hard for anybody to transition out the military. But I think it's going to be really hard for him to be in the limelight, because again, like I tell y'all, the military is going to test them. Like, the military is, what is it? Is this Russian code? Is this a Russian bot? I gotta put people in timeout. I was like, is this a Russian bot? Is this a message to the motherland? Are we sending messages to the East, to Putin? What is going on in my comment section? Oh, they said no Australian. Hello, Australia. I'm talking about the previous person I had to put in timeout. I don't know what they were. I don't know. We sending messages. I ain't trying to come up here and send no messages to Putin, y'all. Like, I ain't doing got it to do. Don't have me get in trouble with the State Department. I have my enough troubles. The United States government. But I just feel like whatever Sugar does, hopefully he's doing it because he wants to or not want to do. I don't want him. I would hate to know that Sugar is being forced to do things that he does, that he wants to come out and he wants to drop that diss track, and they're telling him no, don't do it. I just don't. I would feel bad that he feels stuck between a rock and a hard place with the other members and with the agency trying to tell him what he should or shouldn't be doing in the PR department. Because I'm sure the PR department has briefed all of them by now, saying this is what we're doing, this is our schedule. I'm sure they've got a schedule and a plan and what they need to do. And I'm sure some of the planning, hopefully, has to do with what if the media starts asking you these questions? What if y'all get interviewed and these people are asking these damn things? So I just feel like they should have a contingency. Hopefully they'll have a contingency plan. They should. They have. I mean, HYBE has a big PR department, so all these agencies have PR departments. So hopefully they'll have like some media training and like what to do, how to handle the media, and what what to say and what to do just in case they try you, because they're gonna try, because they're going to try whether we like it or not. People, they're going to try. They're going to try Sugar. They're going to some young reporter is going to feel like they are want to strike, a chord, like this is a way to get my name out here, and I better ask about this Sugar thing because I'm going to get attention as a reporter. Like somebody's going to try it because they're going to want attention. I can see Yoongi saying no, I'm not doing that, no matter what the PR department. Yeah, like I said, I can't imagine Yoongi doing anything he doesn't want to do. I cannot imagine Yoongi, all of his career, from the things that I've heard about Yoongi. Now, everybody who's a team player with BTS, but a pushback to the agency, from everything that I've learned that Sugar has been the one that is a bit more pushing back on the agency. That he has been a team player with BTS for the most part, and he's all about, BTS and furthering their career and legacy. But I heard that Yoongi kind of was the one, especially in the beginning, that gave pushback to the agency on certain things that they were asking them to do or not do. And so I could not imagine that Sugar has gotten to this level, all of the BTS members, that where the agency can tell them anything. Like if they want to come on, if RM wants to get up here and talk about his problems in the military and him not sleeping and popping pills, MFR, that's what he did. He was like, I'm gonna get up here and tell it. He just told his truth. So I was like, okay. Like, I don't think the agency can tell them pretty much anything at this point. I think they just get to do whatever they want to do. Like, they have a schedule and they have a plan and, a comeback, and they have contractual obligations. But beyond that, I don't think that any agency could tell Sugar, okay, you need to stay hidden, and he's just going to be like, okay. Like, no, I think if he didn't want to stay hidden, he would not want to be hidden. But I think that Sugar wants to be hidden. I think that maybe he's gotten used to the quiet life, and maybe he kind of like, I kind of like this, not being in the limelight. Out of anybody who would not like being in the limelight, it would be Yoongi. Because he's the quiet one. He's the one that seemed like he don't have a lot of friends outside of a small circle. He's the one that seems like he would want to be more of a homebody and just want to be at home writing music, being peaceful by himself. He seems more like the less sociable one. So I could see him being like, I just want to do my civil service and come home and not be bothered with none of y'all. Like, and just talk to the guys through the cacao messages, meet with, his family and friends, and, have dinner with them on breaks and stuff like that. But I could see Yoongi just being like, I just want to, but somebody did spot Yoongi not too long ago. He was at that high-end mall in South Korea. What is it called? The Pongo Rodeo, which is like this high-end district, like where like the Gucci stores and Louis Vuitton. They spotted him there, and they recognized him. And like the person posted online, she didn't take any pictures, but she recognized him, and like she kind of looked at him, and he kind of looked at her, and then he put his head down real quick, and she knew it was him. She recognized that it was him, but she just kind of smiled at him and then just kind of walked right past him. Like she kind of smiled at him, was like, yeah, and kind of like smiled and nodded a little bit and just kept on walking. But what? What? my glasses are from Daniel Joyce. My glasses are from it's Elphaba from these are like my sixth pair of glasses. They're Elphaba from Wicked. Do you hear Jungkook BTS plan now? Plan what? Did you also hear Jungkook BTS plan marriage in 2017? No, I have never heard that. Again, I'm new to Army, so I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Uh so I don't know. Like I don't know. Jungkook, so did he plan a marriage or did he get married? I'm confused. What do you mean plan? Did he plan a marriage in 27? Wait, 2017, Jungkook would have been how old? He would have been really young then. Okay, let me think. Jungkook is how he's like 28 now? Wait. No, that couldn't have been 2017. He was really young then. I can't add like y'all No, I don't know. I don't know how old. Let's see. How old was he in 2017? He was young. He couldn't have been married in 2017. He was like 19, 20. So now, 2027. Girl, you said 2017, girl. I was about to say, I was like, girl, wait a minute. He was like 17. Oh, 2027. Girl, you had me really thinking hard. I was trying to add it up. I was like, no, I have not heard that. Oh, he would have been 20 and 20. No, I've not heard that. I have not heard. I cannot see Jungkook getting married. 2027 is 2 years now. I can't. I don't. Jungkook was. The only thing I don't know a lot about Jungkook personal life. I know Jungkook was dating somebody in high school. I know that for a fact. I know that almost for a fact. I've seen the pictures that they've tried to hide. I've seen pictures. So I know he was dating in school. He did have a school chick he was dating. Getting married, I can't see Jungkook ever getting married. From the things that I know, I've heard, not know, but heard about Jungkook, I can't see him getting married. Not right now. Not unless something I can't predict the future, but I can't see Jungkook getting married anytime soon. I think Jungkook is very focused on being the next biggest thing ever. And he cannot be the next biggest thing ever being married. It just won't work. Now, in our society, in American society, we can do it. But in Korean society, no. A lot of K idols and K entertainers are not married. There are some that are cohabitating, like IU. IU has had the same relationship for a long time. I think she even lives with that dude, but they're not married. But I cannot see JK, if he was going to get with somebody, he would cohabitate with that person. They don't have to get married. IU's been with the same guy, I think, since 2018. She's been with the same guy. And there are other entertainers that have had long-term relationships. Like I said, even cohabitate. But marriage, I don't see any of the BTS members getting married anytime soon. Their schedules are really, 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 really busy. And JK doesn't seem like, to me, the marrying type. No, he's young. He's young. Y'all be talking about these BTS members getting married. I'm like, they're young. They're not, I mean, they're young. I'm like, my thing about it is G-Dragon ain't married. I can't see a BTS member getting married. All the women that G-Dragon have been linked to throughout the years, and G-Dragon's not married, and he's older than BTS. G-Dragon, no. He like, girl, I'm gonna keep dating these women and slaying these women, but I ain't marrying none of them. What would be the incentive for any BTS member to get married? I can't see any upside to any one of the BTS members getting married, besides the fact that they want to have kids. But I can't see them having kids in this environment. Like, this is not the environment to have children, to be an entertainer. Like the entertainer, their entertainer, not like in America. In America, you can take breaks, and being a K idol there's no breaks involved. I mean, you can have breaks here and there, but to raise a kid, like, Beyonce can go off for a little bit and go raise her children and come back. The American entertainment industry is not Korea, where you can take breaks to go raise your kids. And like Rihanna Rihanna is like, what, she got like 4, 5 kids now. Like Rihanna has Fenty. She doesn't really have to release an album. She's living her best mommy life. She loves that. She can go off and do her thing and then come back whenever Rihanna wants to. But in Korea, you can't do that. Like your career, you have to constantly be making music and doing things. And I can't see, unless they want to quit the business altogether, I don't see JK leaving the business anytime soon. Him and Jimin, I think JK is very ambitious and he wants to be a star. I think JK wants to be Michael Jackson. I think JK wants to be the next big thing. And I think Jimin does too. I think they want to be stars. And I think that they are really focused on their careers, which they should be. They should while they're young. They're not getting any younger. Marriage is it will always be for them. Any woman would drop anything right now and go be with JK. They know, and they know that. They know that. But they just finding the right one who won't try to use them and manipulate them. That's a hard thing to do. But they know that they can get married. Any woman they want will come running. They all had to snap their fingers. Come on. Like, okay. But they know that they can't raise a family and have that kind of career. Taehyung has kids and Toplo has kids, but they not up there with BTS. I respect Taehyung and his kids, but he's rare. Most idols are not married. They are just not. It's not. It is rare to find somebody that is going to put up with that lifestyle, and then you have to kind of step back from the lifestyle. Like you can't go hard like you have always done. BTS are at another level than anybody. Like they're international superstar. And again, there is no upside for them to be married. There's just I can't see any reason why they would want to get married. There, like I said, there are a lot of idols that aren't married, but they are cohabitating with their partners. Like they live together with a person, either secret or not so secret. But a lot of them just don't get married. There are plenty of actors that are in their 40s and 50s that have not been married, or some of them have been in divorce. But there are a lot of them that just never got married. They some of them are perpetual bachelors or bachelorettes. And some of them are just like, well, why would I get married? I'm gonna lose half my money if I get a divorce, and it's gonna be a scandal. So we'll just live together and just. There's no reason. I can't see any reason why BTS would want to get married. I can't see any reason behind that. And like I said, or just to have children and to bring them in this lifestyle they would have to slow down their careers. Their careers would kind of have to take a back seat to all that. But I think JK and Jimin, them two in particular, are very ambitious. I think they are very ambitious. I could see RM settling down and getting married and having kids. He said it over and over again. He wants to be a dad. I could see RM taking a step back from BTS and finding somebody and wanting to have kids if he's not gay. I mean, I don't know what sexual orientation these people are. But if RM's not gay, then I could see him settling down before JK and Jimin will. JK and Jimin and V, I think they like being famous. I think they really do like the business and they miss it. They seem to miss it more than the other ones do. And I think J Hope do too. I can never see J Hope getting married. Baby, J Hope just seemed like he is just living his best Louis Vuitton life. J Hope is out here living his best Louis V life, baby. Like J Hope likes to be glamorous. J Hope likes to look good. J Hope likes to be desired. I'm sure there's a bunch of little women just run. J Hope, Hobie. I'm sure Taehyung wants like 5 kids. Yeah, then everybody's different. Some people don't want kids. I've never heard JK say he didn't want kids and get married. He said, I don't want no kids. And again, Taehyung, they are older. They are older than BTS. I think Taehyung is like what, in his early 40s? He's early 40s, and he's rare. And I think Tablo is a little bit older than BTS, not by a lot, but a little bit. But again, it's rare. Matter of fact, all of the members of Epic High are married, by the way, because I went to go see them in concert. They all talked about their wives. So all the members of Epic High are married. They're all married and they have children, because they all talked about their wives and that their wives go out to eat a lot. So all of them are married. But Tablo gets the most attention. But yeah, all of them are married. They're all like married. All the other two, they're married too. They talked about their wives. Their wives were there at the concert. But there's no reason why. Hello, Sabina. Assalamu alaikum, Sabina. JK is not 30 yet. He's 28. JK's 28. He's young. That's young. 30 is young. 30 is young. I'm like, I had my first kid at, how was I had my kid? Oh, he's 29 now. Is he 29? Okay. I had my first kid at 38. So as men, it's even less pressing because they don't, women, we got to worry about like childbirth and our biological clock are ticking and all that. So you have to, worry about all that, have childbearing years. But men don't have to worry about that. They could get with somebody younger, which most likely they probably would. But I'm like, I had my first kid, I was 38. My son's a teenager now. So does this tell you, like, you have the rest of your life to get married? Um, they're young. People act like, the only people who act like 30 is old is young people. People act like when they need to get married, I'm like, they're 30. It's like they are just hitting like the prime of their maturity in their lives. And then like all their life they've been ripping and running. And I don't think some of the BTS members have had a lot of experience with dating. Like I know Jin has talked about him not having a lot of dating experience. And so to me, in order for you to marry, you have to have a bit more real relationship type of experience in order to delve into finding someone that you want to marry. And that takes time. And I'm like, well, how much time? They've been going and going and going for 12, 13 years now. And I know they've dated and I know they've had girlfriends, but I don't know how extensive these relationships have lasted or how deep these relationships were. Like, we don't really know, like, how deep these relationships were. Hello, just me. But I don't know how deep these relationships were. So I don't, because like I said before in my other videos, in South Korea, when people say they're dating, it's not really dating per se. It's them going on dates with somebody. It's them hanging out with somebody. It's them sleeping with somebody. It's not what y'all think it is. It's not like I have this meaningful relationship with boyfriend and girlfriend and we're exclusive. A lot of times, a lot of the idols, they date around. They date from person to person to person to person. And it's not that serious. That's why a lot of them don't bring their relationships forward because it's not a real relationship. It's just kind of like it's a fling or it's somebody that I know and I enjoy their company, but we understand that we're both busy or I'm busy or they're busy. And so it's not like a real relationship. It's just us kicking it. And so a lot of people think that these idols have all these relationships and really it's just them not wanting to be alone. It's just like I need company and I want company of the opposite sex. I hang around these women all day. If you're in a girl group and you're hanging around girls all day, you're like, well, shit, I need some male companionship. I need to be hugged up on and kissed up on a little bit, And so you see somebody or you get to know somebody and y'all go start hanging out because, you hang around women all day in a girl group. In a boy group, the same thing. You're hanging around these dudes and y'all live together and you hang together and you're like, I really want the company of a woman. You're like, I really want to be around a woman. Like, I really want somebody to hug on and be affectionate with. The same thing for regular people. The idols have the same needs and they get very, very lonely. I did a whole video about idols dating and how lonely it can be and how a lot of these idols do self-eliminate themselves because they are lonely. Like a lot of these idols who have had problems with mental health, they just talks about like, mental health issues and substance abuse. A lot of times they talk about it because they're lonely. They're like, I don't have any real people around me. I don't have anybody. I'm home by myself. I don't have really a lot of close friends. BTS has talked about not having a lot of close friends. And so it's lonely, and so you seek comfort in many different ways. But a lot of times people think like, oh, these people are dating. And I'm like, they're not really dating. They just, yeah. It's just a friends with benefits kind of situation a lot of times. And they understand it and they go about their way. Like then they schedule get busy and then they don't see the person for 6 months and then they move on to somebody else. I mean, that's just how it is. What exactly, Freya? What's the rush? Thank you, Freya. You said it perfectly, boo. That what's the rush? Yeah, this is their career. You only have one shot at your career. You really only have one, maybe two shots if you're lucky. You have to strike while the iron is hot. When Jungkook came out with Golden, unfortunately for him, he had to go into military service. So he didn't really get to reap the rewards of everything. Jimin is a big example. Jimin, who won so many awards, was on top of the charts, but he was in the military, so he didn't get a chance to enjoy a lot of that. He didn't get a chance to go on tour, to do promotions, none of that. Their albums could have been so much than what it was, but they had to go to mandatory military service. So now that they're out, I'm sure they're chomping at the bit to be like, we need to release new music. We need to see how far we can carry this thing. They're only young ones. Like you can't be running around doing tours at 50, 60 years old. You know, you can, but then that's the time that your career should start slowing down and you can concentrate. Now is not the time to be concentrating on a family. Now is the time for them to build their legacy, build their career to where they can have a family and get older and pass something on to their children, and to where they don't have to work hard. Nobody wants to be 56 years old now here working, like touring, the grueling touring schedule and the diets and the exercise and the keeping up appearances. Nobody wants to be doing that at 50, 60, 50, 60 years old. You should be sitting down and just being like, I'm enjoying my kids. I'm enjoying my wife or my husband. This is the time I should be enjoying my life. While you're in your 20s, you should be out exploring your career. And that applies for regular people as well. You know, you shouldn't be trying, you should be out trying to get your education needs and do all these things when you're young. Don't try to wait until you're 50 years old and being like, okay, now, you know, because you in a different mindset, your body, you start to age and you can't, nobody can control that. And so health issues creep in, body issues. This comes from somebody who's old, who's telling you as an old person. As an old person, I'm here to tell you that as you age, you can't do the same certain things you used to do when you were younger. So it's better to just to do all of the things that you can in your career and then worry about marriage and dating later on. And then also, like, you mature into what you're looking for. Like when you're young and you're hot blooded and you're 25 years old and you're sexy as JK. If I looked as sexy as fucking JK, if I was a guy and I looked that good, do you know what kind of women I would be with? I would be one of the most prettiest, beautifulest women I could slay every day. Like when you're immature and you're in your 20s and your early 30s and you're out for a different goal. But then as you mature and you get older, hopefully, then you'll start to see women and partners in a whole nother light. And then once you realize like, oh, well, I really need to find a quality person. Then certain things don't matter, like looks and status and does she got a sexy body? Is she hot? All those things start to drop off as you get older. Then you start realizing I need somebody that's going to be the mother of my children. I need somebody that's going to stand by me. I need somebody that's going to hold me down. So when you're younger, I don't advise marrying when you're full of lust and like, ooh, they sexy and ooh, she's looking good, because that clouds your judgment and you'll end up marrying. And then a lot of people who do marry young end up getting a divorce because their personality changes, the other person that they with. So they have plenty of time to sow they can sow their oats now, but to me they have plenty of time to give. I don't know why people push marriage on BTS when if I had that much money, I would probably never get married. Like if I had that much money and I looked that good, I would never. I would never in my life. I would be like, I'm finna get this money away to my niece and nephews. I'm gonna give some money to my cousins. I'm gonna give the rest to charity, and I might have one kid, and that's it. Like and all the marriage stuff would be to the wayside. I'll be like, hey, I ain't getting married. I am pretty old, Letitia. Hello, hello, stay, hello. I'm with you, Eva. V or JK can put me in their pockets. I agree, girl. I'm just like, okay, like let's go. Like I ain't gotta ask no questions. It ain't gotta be sugar. If sugar ever, I'm like, it ain't gotta be a relationship. I don't need a relationship from Sugar. I don't need that. I don't need any kind of relationship from him. He ain't even got to talk to me. Like, we ain't even got to talk, okay? I'll be like, Anya, Oniseo. That's it. That's all we got to say is, hey, how you doing? There will be no other talking going on. They're like, we ain't got to talk, baby. It's all good. Right. Me and you, baby, we ain't got to talk, baby. I ain't got to be your girlfriend. Just send me a cacao message when you're ready. Just send me a message. You ain't even got to call me on a telephone. You can send it right through the translator on Cacao Talk, Daddy. Just be like, oh, I'm coming through. I'm going on tour. I'll be in Dallas this date. I'll be like, wait a minute, daddy. Let me get my wig together. Hold on. You coming what day again? Okay, I'll be ready. That's all you got to say. I'm coming through on this day. I'm gonna be at this hotel at this night. Be here at 9 p.m. That's all you got to do on the cacao talk. We ain't got to exchange. I'll show up, a bottle of wine, and say, oh, that's it. We ain't got to talk. We ain't got to have no relationships. There will be no relationships bad. You ain't got to call me the next day. It's just, it is when you come through, when you come through. That's it. Like, okay, all right, you can pick me up phone, be like, he can cacao talk me. You want to come to Korea? I'll fly you to Korea. And then you can go back in 2 days. Okay, all right, daddy, I'll be there. What day and time? Let me just make sure my kids is covered. What flight? What flight? What day? What time? What flight? Where am I going? Okay, let me get my shit packed. Let me make sure I can get off work that day. Let me sure the kids is covered. Let me call Jennifer. She can come sit with the kids for a minute. That's all I need. Just give me a heads up, daddy, and I am there, okay? We ain't got to have no kind of relationship. Like, there's no relationship to be had in that situation. It's just like, I'm finna get flued out for the weekend. Bye, y'all. I'm do a live stream. I'm do a live stream in the closet of a hotel room tomorrow. I'm live, y'all. I'm in Korea. Don't ask me no questions while I'm here, y'all, but just I'm in Korea, right? Y'all gonna be like, Kiki doing the live stream from Korea. She won't tell nobody why she there. Y'all, I'll be like, I'm Korea. Don't ask why. Mind your business. Mind your business. Why are you in Korea? Girl, don't ask no questions. Like, mind your business. Oh. Letitia knows. She like, if you know, you know. Letitia like, yup. Mind your business. Don't worry about where I'm at right now. Hello, Moonlight. What's up? BTS is so hot. All the women across this planet. Heck yeah. Sure. What woman in their right mind would be like, nah, BTS, I'm just going to say no on that. Like, were you stupid? I would be like, I ain't got to ask no questions. Nobody will know. I can keep secrets, honey. I put it out there for BTS just in case one of these BTS members are watching. Baby, I keep secrets. I will keep it to the grave, baby. Y'all will never hear me saying anything. I just be like, I'm doing me right now. Hey, y'all have a good day. On the real, right? Like loose lips sink ships, baby. I'm a discreet kind of chick. I don't be telling nobody's business. I just be like, I'm gonna be out here doing me. I'm like, well, I ain't telling nobody about nothing. Like, I don't understand these women that like do things with celebrities and then they run to the tabloids because they finna get a payday. Baby, I got a career, I got a house, all the bills is in my name. I don't need no BTS money. Okay. Now, if you want to break me off something proper, like on the end situation, I'll take it. But other than that, you ain't got to break me. You ain't got to get any break bread. Just put me on a flight and a hotel and give me a bottle of wine and we good. Okay. I don't need no gifts. I don't need you to pay my bills. I don't need none of that, baby. I'm a simple kind of girl. I'm a simple chick. Oh, your girl is simple. I'm a simple kind of girl. Like, you ain't got to pay for nothing. I ain't trying to get in your pockets. Not like that. I ain't trying to get in your pockets. I'm trying to get in your pants. Hallelujah. Praise Jesus. Amen. Okay. Like, I'm not trying to get in your pockets. Anyway, so girl, I'm like, I am not trying to get in your pockets, baby. I'm just trying to just give me one good night, and I'm like, well, we're good. Like, you ain't never got to see me again. Like, I'm not a picky chick. I'm just like, well, I'll take that memory to the grave with me. That will be a memory that y'all would never hear. I would never say anything. I would only tell one other person on this planet. And she know who she is. She would be the only person I would tell. And I would pull her to a side and take her to an underground garage. And I would sit in the car and I would lock the doors. And I'd be like, girl, we got to talk. Girl, turn your phone off. She'd be like, what's wrong? She'd be like, why are we in the underground garage at 3 o'clock in the morning? I'd be like, girl. She'd be like, oh, shit. I got something to tell you while we in this underground garage at 3 a.m. with the doors locked. That's be the only person I would tell would be Jennifer. She would be the only person, because I know she wouldn't tell nobody. I know she would take it to the grave with her. She'd be like, "Girl, what?" She'd be like, "No, girl, no, what?" And then she'd be like, "Oh," and I know she wouldn't tell nobody. Like, but we would have to sit in the parking lot in the underground garage with the doors locked, which I had to make sure nobody's listening. I had to make sure my kids wouldn't know. Nobody would know. I would take it to my grave, but I would tell Jennifer, I would lock the car doors in the parking garage, 3 a.m. and be like, "Girl, I got something to tell you." And she'd be like, she, "Girl, what?" The look on her face would be like, "Girl, now you lying." Like, "Girl, I don't have you up here 3 o'clock in the morning for no reason. Girl, you can't be lying. I wouldn't be here." I'm like, "Yeah." I tell my girl, "You wild." Girl, I ain't wild. I'm just grown. I tell everybody on my live streams, I am not wild. I'm just grown. I'm a grown woman, okay? I'm an older woman. I'm not a little kid. I'm not in my 20s or 30s or 40s. Shut up, Jennifer. Jennifer's what? Shut up, Jennifer. Don't be outing me. I'm like, I am a grown woman. I ain't in my 20s. I ain't in my 30s. I'm not in my 40s, baby. I'm a grown woman. It's getting hot. It's getting hot in here, y'all. I'm just getting a little. But anyway, what I was gonna say, J Hope's song is about to drop tonight. Killing It Girl. I think it's about to drop any moment now. Wait a minute. Let me look. Let me look. Let me look. Has it dropped yet? You look like you like having fun. I always have fun. Ain't no reason for me not to have fun. I was looking at my alerts. It ain't no reason for me not. I have lots of fun all the time. There's a reason for me not to have fun. I have a fun life. And let me tell you, I just got back from vacation, y'all. So I just got back from vacation today. Today. Like I've been gone, I've been on vacation for 4 or 5 days, right? So I've been on vacation. I've been posting things, trying to keep up with things. I just got back from vacation today, like hours ago. And I was like, I'm gonna do a live stream. So y'all, I am dead tired. I am tired. I'm exhausted. I barely when I how you go on vacation, you barely have any sleep because it's not your bed, it's a hotel bed. I went on vacation with my kids and I just got back today. So I said I'm gonna do this live stream because I was like, man, I miss my people. I gotta come on here and do this live stream because there's so much I wanted to talk about that I couldn't say. I couldn't do videos. And so there's so much I wanted to say on a live stream. So yeah, that's why I did it. That's why I did it because I was like, I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. But I was like, I'm gonna do this live stream. But yeah, J Hope song premieres tonight. I'm so excited that J Hope is doing a song. J Hope has just been magnificent with his solo work. I wonder how J Hope feels that BTS is back because he has gotten so much attention being solo. So I wonder how he feels having to go back to BTS. What do y'all think? What do y'all think J Hope feels? J Hope's like, man, I was just getting started. Because to me, J Hope was just getting started, y'all. He did a tour. He did, and I know, understand that J Hope wants to rest um after the performance tomorrow. And I know he wants to rest, but I just feel like J Hope has done so much that it's like it's kind of hard to put the genie back in the bottle. We got to put the genie. Like, how do you put J Hope back in the bottle now? Like J Hope has just come onto his own. Oh, Eva. Eva said, let me see if I can get through this comment. She said, I'm sorry, girl, but you won't be able to keep that good stuff to yourself because they all look like they can throw down. You know what? I didn't want to say it, but sure. I would keep it to myself as much as I could. I'd have to use some anonymous name. I'd be like, okay, so Mr. X. They'd be like, who you really talking about out. I'll be like, okay, so I met this man in Korea, Mr. X and Mr. A. I'm sorry, they call it in Korea. Mr. A. I met Mr. A in Korean, girl. Y'all be like, is it a BTS member? I'll be like, no, of course not. Y'all be like, stop lying. We know Mr. A is not just some Korean opera. I'm like, yeah, it is. Like, y'all be like, she lied up in here, girl. I know it do look like the BTS. I've had semi-side conversations about how the BTS members all look like they could. Especially Jungkook. Like Jungkook look like the type of dude. I don't know. Jungkook just looks like that. He just like to me he has Energizer Bunny written all over him. Like he just look like the type of dude that you would just be like, walking out the house just crazy, just cross-eyed and just be like, fuck it. Like what happened? I'm not lying to y'all. JK look like anyway, I digress, y'all, because y'all know I be writing fan fiction. Anyway, if y'all have not joined me on my Wattpad, ages 18 and over, please, because my Wattpad, some of the stuff I write about is a bit adult in nature. So I just warn y'all, but I'm on Wattpad. I'm Nomadic Kitty FF on Wattpad. So it's just some of it's a little age 18 and up. Taekwonda, oh my God. When I didn't know what Taekwonda was until I did a live stream and somebody brought it up. And I said, oh, I'm gonna look at it. And after I live stream, I looked at it and my eyes went cross-eyed and I didn't know what was going on. I was like, Taekwonda. I said, what's that? Someone's like, oh, you don't know what Taekwonda is? And I'm like, is it a song? Like, I'm like, Anaconda? I was like, is it a remix by I thought it was a remix of Anaconda by Nicki Minaj by Kim Taehyung. Like that's what I thought it was. When I started looking it up, I was like, this is not a song. I was like, I said, this is not a song. Oh, no, no, no. This is not a song. So if you don't know what Taekwonda is, I said, ooh, Army, y'all nasty. I said, ooh, Army. I said, ooh, y'all some nasty hoes. I said, ooh. I said, what? I said, what? I had to read Taekwonda over and over again. I said, let me go back. Let me just go back and read. I said, let me look at this again. I had to do investigative purposes. I'm like, I'm doing research right now. I researched like for 3 hours. I was sitting there going, is that real? And then I went back and looked at like the videos on YouTube because I wanted to know were the videos that they had. I was like, were they edited or doctored? So I was like went back and looked at the original videos and because I was like, this can't be real. This surely can't. I was like, this is Photoshop. This is AI. And then I went back and I'm like, okay, okay. But Kim Taehyung don't move me like that, y'all. I was just like, that was some interesting research. I was like, interesting. But Kim Taehyung don't move me like that, girl. Kim Taehyung, I was like, he's incredibly charming, attractive man. But I was just like, let me go back to Yoongi wearing them pink pajamas. Let me go back to that. I was like, I need to go back to that a little bit. I just need, like, I watched that over and over again. Like, every once in a while, I'm like, let me go back and watch Yoongi with the pink. I was like, let me go back. Let me research again. I like Yoongi in the pink pajamas video. Like I'm out here with a tape measure. Y'all don't know. I'm putting it on my screen. I'm doing ratios. I'm doing calculus. I'm doing distance. I'm like, okay, he's this tall. It was this distance. I'm looking at my shower curtain. I'm like, was this accurate representation? And I'm getting out the tape measure. I'm measuring the TV screen. My kids walk in. They're like, what you doing? I'm like, mind your business. Close the door. They're like, what do you have a tape measure on the TV for? I'm like, don't worry about it, kids. I said mind your damn business. I was like, I'm measuring something for work. They're like, it's BTS. Like, what are you measuring? I said it's for work. It's like they're like, okay, mom, like weirdo. I'm like, yes, I had the tape measure out on the TV, y'all. Like I was trying to get angles, I was trying to get ratios. Again, research purposes. These are all research. These are all scientific research purposes. Oh my God. No, we end up in that car at 3 a.m. Oh, I was like, it is research purposes only. I am researching. but see, I'm in the opposite. Like some of y'all are like true believers. I'm in denial. Like I'm the opposite. I'm like I'm in denial. I'm like I'm in denial. I'm like it can't be that big. It can't be. I even had guys look at that video. Y'all, I had men look at that video. Like I was like, okay, look, man, I need you to watch this video. They're like, for what? I was like, you're a guy. You know how guy things go. Like, what do you mean? What kind of guy things? I said guy things. Like, what do you mean? I said, guy things. I was like, you know what, guy things. And I was like, just watch the video. So I had two guys watch the video. Two different guys watch the video and they're like, what am I? And they're watching it. And they're like, what am I looking for? They're like, oh. And I said, so looking at this video, what do you think is going on right here? So one guy looked at me like I'd lost my mind. And he was like, are you serious? I was like, I'm serious. So what do you think is going on right now? Do you think he's wearing underwear? Do you not think he's wearing underwear? And then one guy was like, why? What? And I was like, just tell me what you think, damn it. He was like, first of all, he's like, well, it seems like he's not wearing underwear. And I was like, okay, great. We established that. And he was like, well, I don't know. And I was like, well, do you think, like what size? He was like, are you seriously asking me to look at this? He's like, okay, fine. He's like, and these are two straight guys, by the way. And they're like, let me watch the video again. And they were like, yeah, it kind of looks like, both of these two guys who are straight are like, yeah, it kind of seems like he's packing, man. He's like, I'm just going to be honest with you. And I'm like, don't tell me that. And they're like, why? Is that not a good thing? I was like, that's awful news. I want to be in my anti-Delulu fantasy that I was like, nope, that's just too much for me to deal with. I can't deal with Yoongi being incredibly good looking. I can't deal with him being incredibly talented. I can't deal with him being incredibly stoic and kind of savage. And then he got the package too. No, that's too much for me. See, that out my brain just can't handle that. Like I have to find something wrong with him in some kind of scenario. I was like, no, he's not packing heat. No, it's small. Like I just tell myself all the time, I don't even watch the video no more. I was like, it's small. I got to convince myself it's small. I have to. Like y'all, I will get into Saesang territory. If I had evidence that he was packing heat, I would be sleeping outside his house like that Saesang was. Y'all don't want me arrested by South Korean authorities, do y'all? I don't think y'all do. Y'all don't want me live streaming my arrest. So in my mind, I have to believe that it's an average size and that was some kind of shadow work, some kind of shadow misinterpretation of lighting in shadow. And it was something else. And I don't know what it was, but I refuse to believe it. I refuse to believe it. Because if I go there, then I'm be like, well, I'm going on a flight to South Korea right now and just like, I'm just going to look around a little bit. Like, so I have to believe that it is shadow and lighting. And I refuse to believe with these two straight men. And they were like, why can't you just believe it? They're like, well, it looks kind of like, and I said, well, how many inches do you really think it would be? Like, how many? And then one dude was like, I don't know, like maybe 7 or 8. And then it depends on whether it's hard or not. I was like, okay, so what if it's not? And they're like, oh, if it's not, it would probably like 9, 10. I was like, shut up. I don't want to hear it. I want to I don't want to believe it. I'm like, no, I don't want to believe it. I was like, I can't believe this. Nope. I was like, I was like, I don't want to hear it. I want the deviltry. Get this devil away from me. I don't want to believe that. I have to believe that something is wrong. Like, I have to believe, like, no, that's not. No, even those straight guys are no, we're not going to go there, ladies. We're not. I refuse to believe that because then that would just be too much for my brain to handle. My brain was short circuit. I'm like, what? I said, we talking about 7 or 8? Are we talking about hard or soft? I don't know, probably soft. I'm like, I'll be over here, girl. I'll be laying in my bed. Let me stop. Anyway, let me stop, y'all. Carlos said he probably put a sock there. That's what I believe too, Carlos. I'm with you. Oh, he probably put something there. And then my friend looked at me and he goes, okay, sure. He said, if that's what you feel like you want to believe, let you sleep at night. I said, yeah. I said, I can't with you. Y'all know when you come to my live stream, it goes real left toward the end of the live stream. It goes all the way south and then to the left and then to the right and go straight to fucking hell. Y'all know my live streams just goes, it just descends into madness towards the end because we just start talking about some crazy shit. But I refuse. I'm with Carlos. It is a sock. I don't. I don't want to believe it. You know, I have to talk myself out of it every night. I was like, nope, nope. So I didn't watch that video no more. I was like, I ain't watching that. Nope, I ain't. Nope, nope. I ain't watching that. But then sometimes, like, I'll watch other videos and then I just be fixated. I'll be like, oh, BTS, it's stage concert. I was like, I'm not looking. I'm not looking. Like, there's some other performances that I'm just like, my eyes start twitching, and I'm like, okay. I'm like, okay, Kiki, don't look. Like, just fast forward. I'll be like, give me the remote. Just fast forward this shit. Give me the remote. Just give me the remote. Just I can't. I just I'm like, why did he wear those pants? Like, why I can't look at certain Yoongi videos that I like the D-Day concert. I watch the D-Day concert all the time, right? I'm watching D-Day, and then he had this white outfit on during D-Day. And I was like, you know what? I said, let me turn this witchcraft, fucking witchcraft. It was witchcraft. It was the devil. I was like, oh, I like this. He's doing the cipher medley and his D-Day. Oh, he's wearing all white. And I'm looking and I'm like, well, he's not watching this. I can't watch. I was like, why is he wearing all white? I'm like, I'm like, I was like, why is it? So if you have not seen the Cypher medley, go to YouTube when I end this video and go look up Cypher medley and Yoongi's wearing all white. It starts out innocently, but then after a while, I'm like, what? I was like, thank God that I wasn't at that concert because I would have charged the stage. They would have been like, this crazy black woman just went on the stage. I think she's going to jail. Like I can't watch the white pants. Like I can't. My brain be like, oh no. Nah. Like what is he doing? You gonna watch it? Just put the tape measure up. I tell you, sometimes you gotta put the tape measure up because especially when the part where he's singing the cipher 3. He do a little hip thrust thing, and I was like, let me rewind that for us of research purposes. Let me rewind. I had to rewind for research purposes several times, and I'm like, what are we doing? Why are we wearing that? And why are we doing that in these white pants? And what is that? Like, half of the D-Day, I can't, when they go to certain locations, I can't watch it because what he's wearing is distracting. I'm like, what is, what? What girl? My eye be twitching. I'll be like, okay, it's time to go to bed. Let me just stop watching these videos. Cause Yoongi, I'm like, no, Yoongi is packing something. I don't know what it is. The debate is out. He's packing something because there's too many videos, and I'm like, oh, okay. That man do know what he doing. He know what he doing. Just like when he wore those pink pajamas and he did the interview before that I finally watched. I watched the interview and he was like, this some nice. And he said that in the interview before the pink pajamas performance, he said it in the interview that he wasn't going to wear any underwear. Like he was like, these are really comfortable. I like these. And I'm like, what do you mean? You like, what? I was like, why did the stylist let him leave? Get on stage? What were they? I was like, where the stylist at? Who? I was like, which one of you stylists let this man get on stage like this? Or did he just do it on his own and they didn't realize it? I'm thinking that there's no stylist that I know that would let Yoongi get up there with no drawers on and them pink pajamas. There's no stylist that I know of that would ever do anything as crazy as that. Like it had to be something that he got dressed. The stylist is like, okay, go get dressed. And then he had to, I'm feeling that he took the underwear off after he had already put it on. The stylist did their thing. I think he went and took the underwear off on purpose. Like after the stylist did their little, they like, okay. And then probably they didn't notice. They was like, or maybe noticed too late. Like, wait a minute, he ain't got no drawers on, because that would be something a stylist would notice. Or maybe they didn't notice that he didn't have no underwear on when he put on the clothes. There's conspiracy theories. There's theories around that. But he said it in an interview before he got on stage. He said, I like these pajamas. And he said, yeah, I'm gonna. So I don't know if he did it on a dare, or he just did it because he felt like doing it, or he thought it was a good kiki and a caw. I don't know what he was thinking, But he said he was gonna do it. Like he said it. He was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna." It's the devil. He talking about he wasn't packing no socks because I want to believe that, but then again, I saw the interview because someone posted the interview, and he was saying that he was gonna go out there with no underwear on. He was like, "I can wear these with no underwear on," and I was like, "God," I was like, "Wait, was that before he put the pink pajamas?" Someone's like, "That was before he put the pink pajamas on." Then he was like, "I like this material. I don't have to wear no underwear," and I'm like, "What was that? Was an odd. It was just an odd thing for him to say." So Jennifer says it's 10 p.m. You look tired and you need to get ready to go to bed because I have to get up in the morning. Jennifer is telling me I need to go to bed because I look tired. I've had a very interesting week. I had fun this week, but then I haven't really slept good because it's not my bed. So I tell you, he's a mastermind. He is very much a mastermind. It is 10 p.m. J Hope's song is about to drop. So anyway, I appreciate everybody for being here. Moonlight, God, he want that talking about that man just wanted to be comfortable. Carlos, you tell him, Carlos. You said that man just wanted to be comfortable. But anyway, I'm fixing to go. I've been on here for like 2.5 hours. Letitia, Moonlight, Carlos, M Toya, all the rest of the people that came on my live stream. I really appreciate you guys. Make sure you like, share, subscribe to my channel, and I will be posting BTS stuff all throughout the day, all day, every day. I will be working nonstop. I got a bunch of, I'm going to post the RM video in 2 different parts. I'll post the RM video tomorrow. I am tired, y'all, and I won't miss J Hope. I got to listen to this song I got to listen to J Hope. And so I appreciate everybody being here. I appreciate everybody being here and everything. Y'all are like boosted. I just had to come on here and talk about the military discharge. And if you miss anything, you can go back and rewind and rewatch or whatever. But I'm going to relax. I'm going to have me a glass of wine and relax. I'm going to watch this D-Day video. No, I'm going to watch D-Day again for the 80th millionth time. And wonder. I'm not gonna get the tape measure out. I'm actually gonna go to sleep tonight, but I'm just gonna watch and I'm just gonna go to sleep and just put it on and just fall asleep in the background, and not have any kind of insane smutty thoughts. But like I said, make sure y'all like, share, subscribe. Find me on Wattpad, Nomadic Kitty FF, and I will come back and live stream where I will talk about New Jeans and Adore, their situation. I didn't want to talk about it on this stream because I just wanted this to be about BTS and Be Happy things and not Minhee Jin and all her shenanigans. But there's been some certain things revealed, and it's been very interesting about the Adore New Jeans thing and the updates. So anyway, y'all, talk about that in a couple of days whenever I have time. I have a busy weekend. Stay out that car. Good night. I know I'm gonna stay out that car. I'm not. I promise you, it will never happen. I will never have a chance to get with a BTS member. I promise you. It's just my own, like, Delulu contingency. But I doubt I'll ever have that chance. I doubt it'll ever happen. But I'm not that delusional. I understand that. I'm single. Period. Okay, I've been single for like almost 3 years now. So I don't have any fantasies about getting a real man, much less a K-pop singer. So I don't have any fantasies about getting a regular guy, much less BTS. But anyway, but you guys have a good night. I'm out of here. Bye. Smooth like butter. Criminal undercover.